From Joe Yenny Stadium in Metairie, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you Louisiana high school playoff football. Tonight, it's a quarterfinal matchup in Division II as the top-seeded and unbeaten De La Salle Cavaliers welcome the 8th-seeded Teurlings Catholic Rebels. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder along with Wade Kaiser and our Crescent City Sports crew. Wade, let's start off. Let's take a look at the bracket in Division II. On the select side, we are down. Wade, as you mentioned, the second straight year these teams are meeting in the quarterfinals. Actually, the third time in 6 years they are facing off, and the only time these schools have met have been in quarterfinal matchups. It's one of the unfortunate things that we see on the select side is a lot of regular season to playoff rematches, year-to-year rematches, because just of the sheer number of teams.
Well, and it's also, I mean, it's due to the fact of the way things are happening with the LHSA for the past couple of years with the select deal, you know. So, you know, again, I could editorialize, but I digress. You know, the thing about it is it's just the way it's showing up and it's the way it's happening, and, you know, it's got some great matchups that are taking place, but you know, some of the things are, you know, you hate to see the way it turns out because you would rather see them down the line, maybe in a semifinal game or in a final game.
No doubt about it. A lot of focus on the running backs this evening. We've got two multiple-year starters that we'll see at running back tonight. Start with Teurlings and Larkin Spring. He's a little guy at 5'7", Wade, but he is a guy.
He's not a big guy, like you said, but he carries a punch and he picks his holes well, and he's running behind a solid offensive line tonight.
For De La Salle, a guy.
Yards, but here's the whopping number: 17.1 yard average every time he touches the football. Right, so you know he's definitely a highlight tonight, waiting to happen for De La Salle.
The Rebels take the field. The Cavaliers getting in their last stretch. Teurlings and De La Salle. The kickoff is coming up. But before then, Wade, one of the things that we'll get into as we take a look back at a year ago, and we will momentarily. You know, that's the one. These two teams are both better than they were a year ago, I think. De La Salle was a 2 seed a year ago, got to the finals. This is a team that is a number 1 seed that has been really dominant on both sides of the football. You know, we talked about some of the things Teurlings does on offense. They average 37.4 points a game. De La Salle in 7 games allowed a total of 32 points.
Right. I mean, you look at their numbers defensively; they're like, you know, off the wall. I mean, I was looking at a few of them again today. You know, they're only giving up 2.8 yards a play on defense. A play. 2.8 yards a play.
If you hold to your average, that's 3 and out.
Correct. So. 3 and out. And, you know, hence, obviously, their offense is putting up a ton of numbers because they're getting those 3 and outs on defense. That's, you know, a lot of that credit goes to defensive coordinator Eddie Jagalard, who, you know, is well known in this region of the state of Louisiana as one of the best defensive minds out there.
Now, again, so you see that side of it. Now De La Salle on offense has averaged 40 points a game, but one of the things that has been, I guess, I don't want to say a problem for them is probably going back to that St. Charles Catholic game that we saw 6 weeks ago, they haven't been in any kind of real test of a game since then. Their district games were 41-0, 48-3, and 35-6, to where, they handled those pretty easily and were able to take the foot off the gas a little bit, to where, this is going to be really the first test for this Cavalier offense since then.
Well, talking to Dan Devon, the fine defensive back coach at De La Salle, Dan was telling me in pregame he's really concerned, simply because in the past 3 weeks, and that's not a slight against the competition of the three teams that they were playing. It's just that they haven't played to the caliber of what they're seeing with what they're going to see out of St. Thomas more tonight, and he's kind of worried about, kids are kids now. They can look at film just like coaches can look at film, and they can figure out when I've got to turn it on and turn it off. The problem is, as a coach, is you want them always to have it turned on.
Now look, you've played teams, same teams in your league year after year after year. In the case of De La Salle, when you handled this team a year ago, you jumped out 24-0 in the first quarter, 38-0 at halftime, and now you're playing the same team again here in your first playoff game. And this is clearly a better team than what Teurlings put on the field a year ago.
I know where you're going.
Right. How do you keep your own players from saying, "Oh, we've got this one. All we've got to do is put on the pads and the headgear and go out and play."
Well, you turn up the intensity in practice. It's all on how you prepare them physically. The physical part of it will definitely drill through to their mental part of it. And I've always believed, and I learned a long time ago, that if you turn up that intensity and that heat in practice, it's going to come out on game night more times than not. So I'm sure this week, guarding against that, the De La Salle staff turned up the heat on their players. But you can also look at this Teurling Rebels team on film. They're a lot better than they were a year ago, as you stated earlier.
Coin toss going on at the center of the field. De La Salle has won the toss and will defer. So the Cavaliers will get the ball, or the option, in the second half. And this is one of the things you and I were talking about pregame, is how this is going to play out. Now, Teurlings is going to go left to right, as we view it, to start the game. So Teurlings is going to get, hang on now. They're saying, wait, we wanted to go the other way. No, there's some confusion now as Ryan Manali is talking to the referee. There's crew is from the Baton Rouge Association. There's some confusion over this, because not only is Teurlings getting the football, but they're getting the wind in the first quarter. And the wind, as you're watching it tonight from left to right, is howling. It is a strong north wind. Now the officials are going to get together and talk about this. I'm not sure what's Okay.
I mean,
basically right. you could take the football, or you can defer, or you can pick an end zone. You got a lot of options with the kickoff out there. Now they're talking about it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's actually going to happen here.
It looks like they flipped the ends of the end zone here. But you talk about this from the standpoint. You got to realize also that you're dealing with kids in a toss.
Yeah. Pause now for our invocation, to be followed by our national anthem.
Give each one of us the courage to play the game in a manner which by our words and our actions is pleasing to you. Let us enter into the competition in a spirit of sportsmanship and with respect for members of the opposing team. We ask you, Father, to bless each one of us, and especially the coaches, officials, and players. Keep us under the protection of your Son, Jesus Christ, and help us to be aware of his presence with us in the game. St. John Baptist de La Salle, live Jesus in our hearts. Amen.
A year ago, these two teams met at Pan American Stadium in the quarterfinals. A perfectly placed pooch kick to start the game gave De La Salle the football. Jalen then recovering at the Teurlings 14. That set up a 29-yard Yanni Helmke field goal. The Cavaliers would score 3 touchdowns in a 3-minute span late in the first quarter, starting with this Gary Thomas 80-yard catch and run on a pass from Cole Milford to make it 10-0. After Teurlings failed on a 4th down in its own territory, De La Salle answered 3 plays later on a 14-yard run by Montrell Johnson, who had 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 plays after the kickoff, Jacoby Hankton stepped in front of a Samuel LeBlanc pass and returned to 26 yards for a touchdown. It was 24-0 after 1. De La Salle went on to a 45-19 victory. And Wade, obviously, and we mentioned these are two teams that are facing off yet again in the quarterfinals. In 2015, it was Teurlings that won to go on to the semifinals. They haven't been back since. Now De La Salle looking to get back to the semis for the 5th consecutive year.
Well, I mean, the program's been built real nicely, and getting it on that consistency level is what Ryan Manali and his staff has wanted to do, and they've definitely done that, and that's kudos to De La Salle and their whole athletic organization.
De La Salle won the toss deferred. They are going to kick with the wind to start the game. We are underway from Joe Yenny, and that will go into the end zone for a touchback. That was a late signal, but he had 1 foot in the end zone when he caught the football, so that will be a touchback, and Teurlings will begin the opening series of this game at the 20-yard line. We get our first look at Caden Boulay, the junior quarterback, who's a multi-purpose guy. Wade, he can run it, he can throw it. He's thrown for 1,367 yards and 12 touchdowns. Has also rushed for 5 scores this year.
Well, you're going to see a lot of RPOs out of him tonight in zone reads. That's what they like to do. You're going to see a lot of motions, kind of make things real cute to dress things up as they're doing there now, and you're going to get reads like this.
And he runs it up the middle and room to run and a first down and then some. And Boulay is out to about the 40-yard line, a gain of 20 on first down.
Boulay reads the play side linebacker right there. If the play side linebacker chases that jet sweep motion, he's going to pull the ball and do like he did right there and take off to the races. If he sits at home, he's going to give the ball on the jet sweep.
Yeah, that was Coleman Bond coming in motion. Now on first down, they set up a screen pass, and it's quickly broken up. That's an incomplete pass. That was intended for Ryan Richard. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
You can see on the tunnel pass, if we'll get a chance to take a look at it again, the tunnel pass, De La Salle Cavalier got his hands on that ball and just kind of knocked it out of his arms right there to cause the incomplete. It was set up and ready to go, but the incomplete pass obviously nullified anything they were fixing to get.
2nd and 10. This will be a run all the way by Boulay, back up the gut. This time it's well defended by the Cavaliers. They may have the football. They come away with the football. I don't know if this play was blown dead. Now they will. Let's see what the call is on the field. Is that was Michael Thomas, the leading tackler on this De La Salle team, who actually came away from the ball, but they said the play was stopped, knee was down, and it will be a gain of about a yard for Boulay.
Here's a look at it right here. They're going to try to run a little trap play, kick out the defensive end. There's the trap right there. There's the hole for the quarterback. Ball's knocked out of his hands. Nice stick inside right there. It looked like that ball was out, but they say it's not. They say he was down.
So 3rd down and 8. Line to make is right at midfield. Boulay down the middle. Pass is caught for a first down by his leading receiver, Devin Chavis. Chavis on the year, 406 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, averages over 20 yards a catch, and he gets that one out to the 43-yard line of De La Salle. So Teurlings on the move on this opening drive of the game.
And Teurlings also turning up the tempo. They're running with a speed NASCAR tempo, and then they'll stop and read their play from the boundary right there. So they're going to throw a lot of different things at the De La Salle defense tonight, and Eddie Jaguar is telling me prior to the game that kind of concerns him, because if your eyes aren't looking at what you're supposed to be looking at, you can get caught up in all that cutesy stuff.
Option play will go to the far side, and Richard took it out near the first down marker. They'll mark him out at about the 34-yard line, a gain of 9.
Nice job on the the option play right there. They got the ball out on the edge with only one defender, so it was a real simple read for Boulay to be able to get the ball pitched out onto the edge, and a nice pickup for the Teurlings Rebels.
Second and short. Play looked to be snuffed out in the backfield, but a nice move, and the first time we've had a chance to call Larkin Spring's name this evening after we talked about him earlier. Spring gets 4 and a first down.
Michael Thomas had a chance to stop Spring right in the backfield, did for about a 3-yard loss. He just didn't wrap up. You got to wrap up when you got the opportunity back there. You can create big plays on defense.
Ball at the 31-yard line. And Jamarian Peterson, the senior defensive lineman who's headed to Arizona, was in on that tackle for De La Salle. They will go trips to the bottom of your screen. Spring looks to bounce it outside and maybe got 2 on the play.
That was all blown up at the point of attack, inside zone right there for Teurlings. No place for Spring to go, so he has to bounce it to the backside of the zone blocking, and it quickly got wrapped up with the De La Salle defense fitting hard from the backside and all the spots they were supposed to be fitting in from the secondary.
Drive started at the 20, now at the De La Salle 29-yard line. Boulay down the middle, caught. First down, and that was Richard on the grab. They're in the red zone at the 17.
Same route that they completed a few downs back to Chavez is a deep curl route at the sticks. The linebacker didn't get under the curl, and it was soft underneath the corner right there. Great throw by Boulay for a first down for the Rebels.
Trips once again to the bottom of your screen. Now they'll bring a man in motion and send him back to the bottom. Here's a little screen pass out to Spring, and well defended that time by De La Salle. Might have gotten a yard.
Great job out there by De La Salle, number 21, Anthony Young, from his corner position to come up and set that edge on that little flare pass to get there, make sure he secures the tackle. And now this is what they want to do with Teurlings. They want to try to get him into these long second and down, third down situations right here.
Yeah. Now they've had 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8, and managed to convert them already in this opening drive.
It's a lot better than those 2nd and 4s and 2nd and 3s that now that whole playbook, as we've talked about tons of times, opens up for you. You know, you got to make sure you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, and how you're supposed to be, and Anthony Young did that time.
Looked like a timeout was called. Now, hang on here. We're going to have a stoppage in play. Now they're blowing it dead. Ryan Manali is very upset on the near sideline because it looked like they were calling a timeout. The officials had stopped it, and then all of a sudden they were starting it again, and there were players kind of scrambling all over the place right there. Again, this is a crew from the Baton Rouge Association. And Coach Manali just wants an explanation here as to what exactly was going on. While he gets one, it gives us a chance to remind you, Wade, that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Lamarck Ford and Kenner, now with an all-new 12-bay quick lane servicing all makes and models for brakes, tires, oil changes, and more. Come see our remarkable deals and service. Stop by or go to Lamarck.com. And let me tell you, it is state-of-the-art. I was there getting an oil change the other day. I pulled up, and it knew who I was as soon as I pulled up. It read the barcode on the car there, and it knew, and it welcomed me by name. I was very impressed with my experience.
There you go.
Earlier this week at Lamarck. So
there you go. Looks like we did have a timeout awarded to Teurlings. It looks like.
Nothing's on the board there, so
right.
I'm not sure if it just became an official timeout or exactly what the call was. But
well, it's definitely not heat and humidity timeout.
No, we are beyond the days of those.
Right. Well,
they lasted a month into the season, as it were. Which, remember the first game you and I went and did? I think it was about 70 degrees out there. We definitely didn't need it. trying to run the jet sweep, and there was a ton of penetration coming from the far side by De La Salle, and Ryan Richard is brought down for a loss of 2, and it could have been more than that.
Oh, in the backfield right there was Shamar Colleen, a fine linebacker who comes with 30 tackles on the season so far into this game tonight. 6 foot, 218 pounds. He hit him one time in the backfield on the jet sweep for about a 4-yard loss, and he kind of shook his head because he didn't get him down, so he hustles right back after him and gets back in on the tackle as the rest of the dark jerseys from De La Salle got there to clean things up. Great hustle by Shamar Colleen, number 22 from De La Salle.
Yeah, one of the interesting things, and we'll talk about it more, is just they've got some young guys who really contribute here. This is not all juniors and seniors. As Boulay throws, looking to go to the far sideline, incomplete. That was intended for Chavis, and now it's 4th and 11. I think you're in no man's land right here, Wade, especially going into the win. Now, Teurlings traditionally has a good kicking game, but I don't know how you try. Well, of course, they're going to make a liar out of me right now. They're going to try the 35, 36-yard field goal into the win with Landon Boudreau, whose long this year is 28. He's just 2 out of 2 on the year, 40 of 43 on extra points.
Alert for some sort of fake right here, some sort of razzmatazz. They've been known to do that.
This may not be. Well, unless Boudreau's wearing a different number, and we've got movement up front, so De La Salle may have jumped.
Which they did.
And that gives you 5 more yards.
Well, that kind of changes your perspective a little bit on your play calling. It looks like they're going to stay with the field goal team out there, or what could be some sort of, like I said, fake field goal. This would be approximately a 30-yard field goal into a northwest wind.
From 30, kick is on the way, and it is good. So an impressive opening drive for Teurlings. They go 12 plays, covering 67 yards, and it took 5 minutes and 39 seconds. And after one possession, it is the 8th-seeded Teurlings Rebels leading the top-seeded De La Salle Cavaliers by the score of 3-0. So, Wade, your thoughts on what we saw in that opening drive, and I think it's a win for both sides. Teurlings showed a lot by moving the ball down the field, but De La Salle tightening up in the red zone, that was big.
Well, when you can tighten up in the red zone and you force 3, that's what you want to be able to do after a long drive. But I was impressed with Teurlings, as I'm sure you are, how they put the gas pedal down there, and they came out and they were operating at full speed and full throttle right there, completing passes, running read plays off of their zone read game, and dialing up some big yardage plays right there. So it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments that the De La Salle defense will make on the boundary to kind of take some of those things away on the next series.
Sky-high kick will be one hop and then fielded at about the 20-yard line. That was one of those kicks into the wind that got into no man's land, and De La Salle's fortunate to have the football right now as they take it in at about the 20-yard line, and we'll begin it from there.
Okay. You see me gripping my knuckles, right? I mean, you got to catch that football. I mean, that's any way you look at it, that ball's in the air. It's going to take wild bounces if it hits the ground like that, and bearing down on top of you, flying full speed as a kickoff team. So I'm sure that young man's going to get counseled when he comes over to the boundary.
So De La Salle on offense for the first time, led by the junior quarterback Cole Milford. Running on first down. We'll see a lot of this De La Salle running game this evening, as on first down it was actually Byron Phillips on the carry.
It's a nice, right, De La Salle has a great 1-2 punch, Lenny, with Byron Phillips and Montrell Johnson, who we talked about in the pregame show. You'll see a lot of Byron Phillips tonight because he's a load to bring down.
Now it's Johnson trying to get to the edge, and he's not going to get there as he is met by a host of white jerseys.
Great pursuit by the Teurlings Rebels. They got a lot of white jerseys to the ball fast that time as Johnson's trying to bounce the ball outside on the stretch play. Here's a good look at your replay. 8-man front for Teurlings right there. Here comes this linebacker coming up from his linebacker position to make a nice tackle out on the edge. That looked like number 36, Colin Sinatier. Hopefully I said that right.
Sinatier, leading
Sinatier,
tackler on this
go.
team. 61 tackles now on the season for the Teurlings linebacker. Blitzing coming off the edge. Little screen pass set up, but it's well defended that time by Teurlings as Julian Leblanc, the nose guard, with a nice play to run down Johnson on the backside there and stop that screen pass after a gain of about 6, and it will be a punting situation, 4th and 5.
Smart play by Julian Leblanc. He reads that something's wrong. I'm breaking through here too easily. The pressure just eludes itself and goes away. So what do? I stop in my tracks. I retrace downhill, and all of a sudden, right in front of me is a screen, and I make a play. Great job by Julian Leblanc, 6 foot, 200-pound senior defensive lineman from Teurlings, reading that play.
Punt on 4th down and using the wind. This is a great kick, and we'll get a great roll. This will roll inside the 10-yard line, 67 yards on the punt, and that is a huge play by Kentrell Mollett, who came in averaging 34 a punt. He just about doubled his average on that one kick.
Well, that's going to help his average tonight, okay, I tell you right now. But you've got to know the wind coming in here. You can see with the tubes on the stadium what type of what's happening with the wind. You know, you're going to have to back up. If I'm supposed to be playing 30 from the ball for the punter because that's what he's been averaging, I might have to play 50 from the ball with the wind and make sure I try to catch that punt and don't let it hit the ground and end up back inside my own 10-yard line.
So Teurlings starts at the 9. Give it away on 1st down. And only about a yard that time for Larkin Spring trying the right side.
Trying to run sweep to his right side. Ran into a wall at De La Salle Cavaliers over there. Led by Trey Hand and Kenneth Jackson, the fine defensive linemen from De La Salle that kind of have had a great season on their left-hand side of their defense.
And a nice hit there on the far side. Stopping that play short. Deontay LeBranch, not a big guy, weighed at 5'7", 160 pounds.
Well, he came up and knocked the stuffing out of the receiver right there off the RPO. You love to see those sort of things. That's what football's all about. That's why you play the game, in order to come up and get that type of stick.
So now it's 3rd down and 4 to 15, and this is a big play early on in this football game. If the De La Salle defense can come up with a 3-and-out after that field flipping punt, you got a chance to get some really good field position. Scramble, pass caught, 1st down, and that is Larkin Spring on the catch. He needed 4, he got 11.
Well, Larkin Spring checks up. He has his first responsibility. It's the play side linebacker in the protection scheme for Teurlings. Linebacker doesn't come. He replaces the linebacker who drops to his zone. And nice job by Caden Boulay, who actually made that play to find his check down to Spring to let him run loose and pick up the 1st down.
On the 26. Up the far sideline, and for a 1st down, that is Richard. Gain of 14, and we got a late flag coming in from behind the play, looked like by the referee. I'm not sure what that is about.
I'm sure it's some sort of late hit out of bounds over there that we couldn't see from our vantage point, that the official could see, obviously coming from behind down the sideline. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's against Teurlings Catholic.
Oh my.
So the play will count. Now wait, now they were walking one way. They'll get it right. Now they need to walk the other way. 7-man officiating crew tonight, by the way.
Well,
we really had 5 in that first round game, but again, you got to get enough officials to get out there and handle that. So
Lenny, you see that read option play they just ran right there? That's going to be the first play that I'm sure Eddie Jaguar is marking down on his card, saying I got to make an adjustment to, because he's not getting enough campers out there on the flank to be able to take the pitch. They're getting the ball and 2 on the flank out there, and nobody able to pick up the quarterback, as well as there's only one guy that they're going to read off the option to take the pitch. So that's going to be a play he's going to have to make an adjustment to immediately.
A 14-yard gain, a 15-yard penalty. It's now 1st and 11. Pass is caught. Boulay finding a man over the middle right there, and that was Chavis on the catch, a gain of 6.
Great job by protection by this Teurlings offensive line. Those guys did a great job right there, as you saw in your replay, giving Boulay enough time to step up in the pocket and deliver the ball to the option route coming from outside in for a nice pickup, and calling it 2nd down and about 6.
Certainly back on schedule. Pass is caught. This is going to be right at the sticks. It was Julian Guy, the junior wide receiver, making the catch. Let's see how they spot this. That was very close to being a pick 6 right there, Wade. The De La Salle defender was about half a step late trying to step in front of that one.
Well, they ran RPO, and that was a pre-snap RPO where they were reading the numbers out on the flank, whether or not they should throw the ball out there. They had the numbers, and he throws the ball out there because that's what he's taught to do. De La Salle does a nice job almost picking that ball off because the pass was slightly off target.
So it looked like it was going to be 3rd and short, and now all of a sudden they say, nope, it's 1st and 10. So it's a gain of 5. 1st and 10 at the 36, and that's what you want to do. Get a couple of first downs coming out. Peterson with some pressure up the middle. Pass is caught for a 1st down by Guy. What a leaping catch by Guy on the far sideline, a gain of 12.
Boulay running for his life, sprints out to his right, and he just heaves the ball to the boundary. Watch the catch by Guy on the boundary. He leaves his feet, gets airborne to make an incredible athletic catch right there. 13 receptions, 202 yards as he comes into this game. That's Julian Guy. 15.5 yards every time he touches the football.
De La Salle is going to call timeout here, Wade, with 53 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and this is not the start we probably expected tonight by any means. Teurlings down the field, into the wind, gets a field goal. De La Salle 3 and out. Now Teurlings back on the march again. 3 first downs here to get from the shadow of their goalpost out near midfield.
Well, I mean, a few things are going to be said in that huddle down there, I'm sure, to motivate the De La Salle football team by their coaching staff, right? But look, let's don't take a lot away here from this Teurlings offense here.
They're doing a terrific job. And this is a team that is balanced, that can move the football, no doubt. They average almost 340 yards a game, 187 on the ground, 152 through the air, so they're definitely not a one-dimensional football team.
And you got to remember, they're the 5 and 4 guys coming here at the 8th seed. They get a shot to take on the number 1 seed.
And that is deceiving in its own right. Because you look at the schedule they've played. They have played a brutal schedule. On first down, Peterson comes off the edge and meets Spring in the background, or in the backfield, for a loss of 3.
Getting back onto what your thoughts were there, you're right, that is deceiving, but it is one great motivating factor all week that Dane Chapanche and his staff have been putting up into the Teurlings Catholic locker room and all that, and getting these guys ready to take a trip and come over here and play the number 1 seed.
So it's 2nd and 11 from the 47-yard line. And they probably want to milk this for all it's worth so you can get the wind at your back for the second quarter. But they will throw it right here. Setting up a screen. Pass is caught by Spring with room to run. 40, 35 down at the 30-yard line. Well-designed screenplay that time, and it's a gain of 23.
Again, I think that all got started with Boulay, Lenny. I mean, he does a great job drawing these guys in. He looks to his left. Nothing there. Draw, and dump. Offensive lineman out in front of Spring, and then Spring catches the ball, and he showed his jets right there running down that boundary. But it started with Caden Boulay.
And you hear the horn. That is the end of the first quarter, and what a quarter it has been for the Teurlings Catholic Rebels. 12 minutes in the books. Your score, Teurlings 3 and De La Salle nothing. Second quarter set to get underway. We switch ends. De La Salle now has to go into the wind. Teurlings has the wind at its back, moving left to right. This drive began at the 9-yard line. They're now all the way out to the De La Salle 30 on first down. Taking a shot downfield towards Coleman Bond on the far sideline, and the pass was out of bounds. It's 2nd and 10.
Well, is that an indication of what they're going to do with the wind at their back? Okay, so, taking that shot the very first time they get that northwest wind to their back might be sending that message to that De La Salle Cavaliers secondary that we're coming after you right here. De La Salle staying in their 4-man front. We haven't seen the De La Salle Cavalier defense yet get into their 3-man front yet, which they like to do in a lot of passing situations.
2nd and 10. Man in motion. He'll take the handoff on the end around. That was Chavis and nowhere to go. Well defended that time. You see the speed and the pursuit of this De La Salle defense, Wade.
That was Jamarian Peterson right there, that Arizona commit. He plays off the block and he scrapes down the line, does a nice job bringing down Spring. Look, he's everything as advertised. Arizona's getting a great player out of this guy, and I got to think the recruiting process just hasn't ended for him either. 6'4", 240-pound senior.
3rd and 11. Actually make it 3rd and 12. They spotted it back at the 32-yard line. Boulay going down the seam, incomplete. And that was in the direction of Richard.
Look, Richard was wide open. He broke his route off right at the sticks. They do a nice job with these curl routes at about 14 back to 12, maybe 16 back to 14 right at the sticks right there. That ball was just a little underthrown by Boulay. If that ball been on target, Lenny, that would have been first down, Rebels.
So 4th and 12 at the 32. Good kicking game, probably a little bit far. Note they're going to quick kick it. And a fair catch is called for. That's a heads-up play right there as De La Salle kind of dropped into a punt-safe defense, and that was Untitled Leblanc, who plays in the secondary, who also handles the return game.
Smart play by Untitled Leblanc, getting that hand up on that kind of quick punt right there to be able to make sure that that ball doesn't bound over his head and down inside the 5-yard line and put them in a deep hole.
Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute. At Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, each patient receives the same personalized care and innovative treatment as the professional athletes they treat every day. Get back in the game as quickly and safely as possible with the team that treats more than 30,000 athletes per year. Learn more at ochsner.org/sportsmed. On first down was a pass by Milford. We'll get about 5 yards.
Milford runs the RPO and he gets it out to
I believe that was P.J. Martin coming in there.
Right, P.J. Martin out there, but that was their version of a pre-snap RPO, looking at the numbers out on the flank, pulling the ball off the run, and zinging it out there to P.J. Martin, who had some running room.
De La Salle only ran 3 plays and did not make a first down in the first quarter. This will be their first down of the game, as Johnson on the carry gets 8.
Nice move initially by Johnson in the backfield. Really great jump cut. He's got a lot of lateral ability and then has the ability off the lateral cut to be able to get his shoulders north and south real fast. Again, I'm sure that's what Arizona saw in his abilities to be able to accelerate north and south off the lateral cutting.
See stack receivers to the bottom of your screen. Give it away on first down, and Johnson with room to run up the middle. Can they catch him? 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, pushed out of bounds at the 3-yard line. A gain of 70 for Montrell Johnson.
Montrell Johnson reads the inside zone. He cuts it all the way back off of the blocking to go 70 yards. Looked like he kind of ran out of gas right there at about the 3-yard line. Nice job by Teurlings to run him down and get him out of bounds to try to live and play another day. But what a burst of speed for about the first 50 yards by Montrell Johnson on the inside zone. That's what Arizona is going to get right there. Great vision, great lateral movement, and then a burst of vertical speed, which I've already talked about.
They're going to put it back at the 5-yard line, so officially it's a gain of 69 for Johnson. 77 yards on the last 2 plays. And
that's going to add to that 17.1 yard average too.
That's how you average 17. Yes. You pop one of those once in a while.
Absolutely. That jumps up those numbers.
De La Salle will use its second time out here with 9:44 remaining in the second quarter. Ryan Manally's got some question, I think, perhaps about the clock situation, and it was just about down to 0 when they were trying to get up there and run a play. And
we need to give Ryan Manally a red flag.
Yeah. Be able to challenge.
Right. He's been all over those guys from the minute the kick started to, or excuse me, from the minute of the tip tonight, getting things right.
Second quarter, University Lab 22, Vanderbilt Catholic 0. Second quarter, Archbishop Hannon 3, E.D. White 7.
This is one of about 55 games, I believe it is, going on tonight in around the state of Louisiana. So I think 3 or 4 more tomorrow. There was one COVID-related forfeit. And now we get another stoppage here. And timeout again called by De La Salle. Unless they took the first one away, I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but it's whether that was their second time out and they got the other one back, or that is their third one. The scoreboard still says 1. Of course, we're not hearing announcements from the referee here in the stadium, but it's
De La Salle looked like they had some sort of personnel issue. Okay, one of their players comes running over to the boundary, and it forces De La Salle to have to take the timeout, right? So trying to get the personnel straight, they don't want to make a mistake down here inside the 10. I mean, think about this, you know. You don't know how many times you're going to get inside there, right? So you want to make sure everything's right and take care of every advantage that you possibly can. So you got to get the personnel right. So rightfully so, I can see taking the timeout, making sure that they got the right personnel on the field, and their players are comfortable in what they're doing, going back out for this first down.
So De La Salle operates from the far hash. Johnson's back in the game now. He would have been out of there, but with the timeout, he's able to get back in. He's had more than a chance to rest. In fact, he's taking a direct snap here. Fakes it. Try to run it. They've got it bottled up on the right side, and he barely, if he did, make it back to the line of scrimmage.
Not much blocking that time over on the De La Salle right-hand side. That was a great job by Julian Leblanc. We've talked about him already tonight, making a great play on the screen earlier in the first quarter, as well as Reed Bourgeois, number 45, the other fine defensive lineman for St. Thomas More, getting there to make a tackle. St. Thomas More has been in an 8-man front all night tonight.
So 2nd and goal, the ball just outside the 5-yard line. Now it's Milford once again behind center, hands it away to Johnson this time. Looks like he got out to about the 1.5 yard line.
Johnson does a nice job finding his hole on that inside zone. Getting there for Teurlings was the linebacker, Thomas Buller. Comes in with 38 tackles on the night and 1 sack.
They'll go quickly here, go under center. Quarterback sneak by Milford. He is in for the touchdown. You don't see De La Salle spend a lot of time under center. That was a quick shift to where he moved under center. It just went right up the gut behind his big offensive line. Looked like he went right behind the right guard, John Martin, at 380 pounds for the touchdown, and De La Salle leads 6-3.
Well, it's a goose play right there. They're going to walk up and they're going to goose the center, and they're going to see which way the shaded nose guard is. If the shade is to one side, they're going to hit the soft spot away from the shaded nose and try to get the ball wedged up inside. Great job by Milford.
So Yanni Helmke on to try the PAT. Handle a low snap. Kick is on its way. Did that hit the upright? It looked like it might have hit the upright, but it went through.
It was knuckleballed low and line drive into that wind. Came close, but did not hit the upright.
So De La Salle goes 87 yards in 6 plays, needing 2 minutes and 29 seconds to cover that real estate. Of course, the big play, the 69-yard run up the middle by Montrell Johnson, who accounted for 81 yards out of the 87 on that drive. And that's what he does.
Well, that's
he's
what
done it.
Right.
He's done it for several years now here on St. Charles Avenue.
Right, and it started with his vision. I mean, they run the inside zone, and it's all bottled up one way, and he just bends it back off of a lateral cut against the blocking, and then he goes to 70 yards until he runs out of gas down around the 5-yard line. But, yeah, that's what he does, and he's got great vision. He's got great horizontal movement and then vertical blast off that horizontal movement.
Let's watch this kick. Remember what we saw in the highlights earlier from last year's game, that De La Salle recovered a pooch kick on the opening kickoff. Now that you're kicking into the wind, that might be a strategy. And they will indeed go short to about the 37-yard line, but a nice job by Teurlings to step up and call for the fair catch. And that was coming up to make that play right there. That was Tyrick Gary, running back, who took it in at the 38-yard line. They will mark it.
Well, I mean, you're kicking into this northwest wind that's real strong, and you've got to anticipate that they're not going to go deep with the ball. So Teurlings, coaching their kids real well, gets that up back group to make sure that if that ball's up in the air, get that hand up on that pooch kick, catch the ball, and we'll take the ball right where we're catching it at for nice field position.
On 1st and 10, the quarterback will keep it and run up the middle and out past the 50 to the De La Salle 46-yard line. A nice run that time on first down by Caden Boulay. They will give him 16 and the first down.
Caden Boulay for Teurlings runs the zone read option right there. He's looking at the last guy on the line of scrimmage who follows the back. He pulls the ball out and he bursts through the center of that De La Salle defense for a nice gain.
From the 46, Boulay now getting pressure from Peterson, runs away from it, throws, ball is batted, was in the air for quite a while. There were 2 or 3 black-shirted Cavaliers closing on that one, but no one could get there. It'll fall incomplete.
De La Salle had a great opportunity right there. They just come up about a half a yard short from getting a pick right there. Boulay looks at his intended receiver. It's all covered up. And De La Salle did a nice job with their coverage in the secondary to take away all of the primary receivers of Boulay. He scrambles out there to keep things alive, but it just gets batted. And like I said, De La Salle a half a yard more, they'd have been first down around the 40-yard line.
So on 2nd and 10. Give it away to Spring, and not much room to run, a gain of about a yard.
Wow, he ran into a brick wall right there.
There's a lot of bricks on that wall on that De La Salle front, and a lot of big guys.
Well,
Kenneth Jackson coming off 300 pounds. Of course, Peterson's at 240, Trahan 265.
Well, that's the strength of the defense of De La Salle, and all the defensive coaches will tell you it's in their front 7.
And they run a lot of guys through on that defensive line as well. On 3rd down, throw it out in the flat. Good identification very quickly there by Boulay to find his man. That was Richard for the first down. Gain of 10.
He gets it real quick out to the wide receiver screen, catches the ball, and allows his athlete to run. And he runs straight down the line, the sidelines right there, and picks up the first down for the Rebels.
2 to each side as Teurlings shows a little tempo after converting the first down, but now they'll check with the sideline. Boulay will throw that screen pass once again, and Spring gets 8 or 9 out of it.
You know, they're getting a lot of mileage out of that. Everything's covered downfield. They're running off the coverage with their receiver set, and they're allowing Spring, after he protects, to drop right out underneath those linebackers, and they dump the ball off to him and let him run.
On 2nd and 2, Spring once again. That is the one thing that's not working well right now for Teurlings offensively. And you've got to show it to make the De La Salle defense respect it. I understand that. But just the up-the-middle running game is not doing an awful lot right now. And that was Gary on the right. Was the ball carrier that time.
Tyrick that time, the backup for Spring, was in there to run the inside zone. And like I said, they're running into those huge guys from De La Salle, and it's just not working real well for them right now.
This time the quarterback will keep around the left side. He will get the first down and a few more out to about the 21, 22-yard line.
Off the zone read again. Now that is working. All right, Boulay running the football off the zone read. They're reading Jamarian Patterson right there, who Jamarian is coming down hard on the running back on the inside zone. And that allows Boulay to disconnect the ball and get it around his end right there for a nice pickup and first down, Rebels.
Clock ticking, under 6 minutes here in the second quarter. Teurlings down 4, but on the move. Quarterback keeps it on the option play and still keeps churning out to about the 15-yard line. Looked like De La Salle had him wrapped up near the 20, and he just kept going and got another 5 yards.
Well, we talked about back in the first quarter, one of the things that they're going to have to adjust to was the option. While I saw De La Salle's adjustment right there, they were going to invert from the secondary so they could bring the strong safety down in the box to be able to have 2 out there for the option, a person for the quarterback and a person for the pitch, right? Well, they did a nice job that time. The only thing they did was forget to tackle. All right, when you get down there, you've got the numbers, you've got to make the play, and you've got to tackle somebody. Nice job, De La Salle, making the adjustment, but they've got to make the tackle now.
Second and 3 at the 15. Play action. Now throw it out far side. Caught. First down. Richard on the catch. Let's see if they mark him at the 10 or out past the 10-yard line.
Boulay first looks deep for the receiver that's running the vertical route down to the end zone. It's all covered up by the Cavaliers. Then he throws it out to his second person out there, Ryan Richard, who picks up the first down for the Teurlings Rebels. Nice concept right there by Teurlings. Nice job by Boulay with the read.
And they laid the change down. It's 1st and goal, so the ball is touching the 10-yard line. The Rebels content to take their time right here. The drive started with 8:34 remaining. Now they're actually going to call a timeout. So with 4:03 remaining here in the second quarter, your score, De La Salle 7 and Teurlings 3. All right, Wade, take us into these huddles right now in terms of what's going on.
Well, De La Salle right now is talking about how they're going to adjust to the motions that they're getting from De La Salle, okay? Or De La Salle is going to talk about the motions they're going to get from Teurlings right here, making sure that they're inverting from the secondary, which is, I can see, one of the adjustments that they made on the boundary. What Teurlings is talking about right now is they're setting up their play sequence for the next 4 downs, okay, on what they want to do. Talking about if they do this off of our motions, we're going to come back with this. So be prepared for this call from from the boundary. They might even come out and go fast right off the bat for maybe the first 2 snaps right here. So they'll come out and say, here's our first 2 plays, and then everything will be read with me from the boundary.
Remember, De La Salle tightened up in the red zone on that first possession of the game, forced a field goal try. It accounted for Rebels' only points thus far. Cavaliers will need to do the same here.
You got one-on-one down here at the bottom. Looks like De La Salle's come out in a man coverage right here.
This is a jet sweep. And into the end zone, touchdown. That was Julian Guy. From 10 yards out.
Julian Guy makes a great cut north and south off the jet sweep. He couldn't get it out to the edge. He puts his right foot in the ground and gets north and south. Hits a crease in there. Nobody from De La Salle contended it, and it's touchdown Rebels. Look at him stick the foot in the ground right there. Nice block right there by a Teurlings offensive lineman. And I believe that was Joel Leclaus that made a nice block out there to spring Julian Guy.
10 plays, 62 yards. It took 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and Teurlings has the lead. Once again, extra point is good by Boudreaux, and your new score is Teurlings 10 and De La Salle 7. And you got some stunned maroon-clad fans on the near side here right now, Wade.
Well, when you're the number 1 seed and somebody just drove the ball down your throat like that, you're going to be stunned. All right, there's nothing quick that can take the wind out of your sails or the air out of your balloon than taking a drive like that and moving it right down the field on some nice set-up, formulated plays and scoring on a drive like that to take the lead.
Now, this is a key drive coming up for De La Salle in that, remember, they won the toss and deferred. So if you can sustain a drive here and go down the field and get points on the board before halftime, De La Salle gets the ball to start the third quarter. So you got a chance, for those back-to-back scores potentially.
Well, they're going to have to work the clock carefully as they're coming into this drive with no timeouts. So if you remember, for everybody at home, they wasted 3 timeouts back in, if I'm not mistaken, in the second at the beginning of the second quarter.
Right. I think there were 2 there, and there was 1 they actually used on defense in the first quarter.
That's correct.
Yeah, no timeouts remaining right now for De La Salle. Teurlings has 2. Ben Tate, the punter, handles the kickoff duties. He's got 10 touchbacks, and the way the wind is blowing, you would expect this one would go through the end zone as well. The De La Salle returners are set up at about the 7 or 8 yard line, but the left-footed Tate would likely use the advantage of the wind here and send this one into the end zone. And we got a flag before this can get underway. That did go 6-7 yards deep, and this is going to be offside. Or a false start, perhaps, against Teurlings.
Right.
Usually you see offside there.
Well, it's illegal procedure.
I'm not sure what exactly was the reason for that, but that will...
It's very dramatic.
Well, based on that kick, if he kicks it like that again, it would still reach the end zone because that probably went 7 yards deep. They'll just back it up 5 now and give it another whirl.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the wind tube, the wind sock here at the corner of Joe Yenny Stadium, and it's blowing strongly from the northwest.
Yeah, very top left of your screen. And you and I were talking earlier. You've coached plenty of games in this stadium. That windsock is the first thing you looked at when you walked into this stadium. Why?
Oh, because I want to know what I'm going to do with my kicking game, and I know that windsock and the direction it's heading with this stadium can cause you to make a lot of coaching decisions real quick. That
kick a little short and room to run here. Up past the 30, out to the 35, 40. Midfield, out to the 40-yard line is P.J. Martin. So that penalty was 5 yards, but it was really 40. De La Salle would have been starting at the 20-yard line on a kick into the end zone. Instead, the Cavaliers are able to return it out to the 40-yard line of Teurlings.
You got to see the team speed of De La Salle right there. They've got guys all over the place at receiver and running back, at returner that can just flat run. And P.J. Martin right there just hit a seam, and he was off to the races. And it sets De La Salle up in a great situation now with 3:42 on the clock here as we're going into halftime.
Well, you remember a year ago, we saw Martin as a freshman. Now he's a sophomore. De La Salle got really beat up at running back early in the year. Martin got a lot of chances as a freshman to carry the football. Now Milford on first down, looking to go down the sideline. It is caught. First down. And I believe, see who pulled that one in there. Was that Guy Burris, 15?
Might have been Guy Burris that caught that, right.
And a run up the middle will get Cavaliers even deeper here.
Back to that route again. It was a double move by Burris, who runs the out and up, and the ball's laid out perfectly by Milford. Love those double moves that really froze the cornerback from Teurlings.
Now De La Salle showing some tempo here.
You got to remember, they score here, they can double dip, they get the ball to start the second half also.
And about 3 on the play. Third one.
And so on 3rd and 1 at the 11 after a couple of carries. Try to go off the right side, and this is stuffed up here. Looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage, and so Phillips gets no gain on the play. And now we got a big play coming up in this game, Wade. 4th and 1, the ball at the 11-yard line.
Colin Sinatier from his linebacker position gets a clear call. He steps right up in the hole, and there was no place there for the De La Salle running back to hit, and he makes the tackle right there for a huge play for De La Salle, but they give him the first down on the spot.
Up the middle, churning, and in for the touchdown. Byron Phillips was the workhorse on that one.
Byron Phillips makes the nice cut on the inside zone again. He hits it in the A-gap, makes one cut at the second level, bends back against the flow of the Teurlings defense, and just rams it into the end zone for the second touchdown of the night for De La Salle. Byron Phillips is a nice part of that 1-2 punch from for De La Salle with he and Johnson.
Great compliment, no doubt about it. A lot of teams would love to have one of those, and De La Salle's got two.
Well, yeah, when you've got two of them, you're living large.
Helmke's point after try is good.
I mean, Phillips is a load, 5'9", 217 pounds. I was looking at him on the field down there. He came up to about where my shoulders were, right? And but I mean, he's like a fire plug. He's put together and he's all rocked up. He's hard to bring down when he's pounded it inside those tackles.
So the Cavaliers have scored touchdowns on their last 2 drives. Now Teurlings will look to operate the 2-minute drill when they get this back. With 2:16 to play.
With 2 timeouts.
And 2 timeouts.
And the wind.
Yeah. No doubt helps in the kicking game.
Absolutely.
Although what's interesting is, we made a lot about the wind and how it could play a factor here tonight, but 3 of the 4 scores we've seen thus far have gone into the wind. So it's not that you can't do anything going right to left.
It's the timing of dealing with the wind. And that's what I said. When I looked at that sock, when I would walk in on a day here at Joe Yenny like that, and I knew somewhere it just might be one call that I would have to make considering the wind on what I was going to do. So you had to know the wind in this stadium.
Helmke with a pop-up kick will look to just drop it in there right about the 25-yard line, but it was a little too close to the sidelines, and the second hop went out of bounds.
That ball takes one bounce the other way. It's De La Salle football at about the 25-yard line, 27-yard line.
And that's one of those things that trying to come to the near side, you've got that little bit of a, you've definitely got the wind in your face, and sometimes it's crossing a little bit to a little bit of a northeast wind, and it's probably pushing the ball towards the sideline as well. So
Well, that's just one of the things that's the beauty of this stadium, right? And a lot of things come into play here. If you're playing a 2 o'clock afternoon game on a sunny afternoon, the other thing that's in your eyes too is the sun. Mm-hmm. So wind, sun, and that's just the beauty of playing in old stadiums like this. And you've got, that makes a lot of difference in your coaching decisions and the calls and the way you want to do things.
So 2-by-2 formation to start things here for Teurlings on 1st and 10 at the 35. There's a little swing pass to Spring. That may have even been a lateral, in fact, but
nope.
Gain of 1. Late flag coming in there. I don't know if that was a late hit or just some kind of after the play confrontation there. The officials will talk about it over on the far side at the 36-yard line.
You got some extracurriculars right there that happened after the call, after the whistle blew.
Trey Hand is saying, wait, this might be on the other team.
Got our second unsportsmanlike penalty on Teurlings tonight.
Yep. Are they going to walk it back? Yes, they will.
Okay. 1, I get it. 2, it's got to stop. Okay, because this has cost you big time as far as that hidden yardage that we've always talked about. And now you're dealing with, like I call it, second in a decade.
And the play will count, so it's 2nd down and 24, the ball at the 21-yard line, and they will wind the clock here as it will tick towards the 2-minute mark. Little half sprint this way, caught and well defended after the catch by Chavis. And that will be no gain on the play.
Tell you what, that was a great job by Roderick Williams coming up and laying a lick on Chavis right there. He came flying up on the check down flat route right there, and he just lit Chavis up.
Third and here to Kenner.
I like that.
Pass is caught. Oh, ball is out late. Let's see if they'll call it incomplete now. Bond had it for a minute, couldn't complete the catch.
Shamar Colleen laid the wood right there, lit up the receiver after he got his hands on the ball to dislodge the ball to bring on a punting situation for Teurlings.
Now with 1:11 to play, Teurlings will punt, but they punt with the wind at their back.
Chance for De La Salle to get out the gate right here with 1:11. Getting the ball at pretty good field position too. Let's remember the last time we saw the ball punted in this direction, it sailed for 60 yards for De La Salle.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of the wind here and know your wind.
Not a very good kick. De La Salle's going to come away with great field position, and nobody's over there. A late flag comes in on this side as the return gets out to the 30-yard line, and I'm not sure what that is about. We're going to find out here in a minute.
And that flag's completely on the other side of the field from where the play was taking place on the punt return. Usually when that happens, you've got some sort of personal foul going on during the play. Shoving, pushing, maybe throwing a punch or something like that.
Well, the officials will sort all of this out with 58.9 seconds remaining in the half. Again, all the crews in the playoffs, all assigned out of the LHSA office. You have neutral crews. Even a game like as it is holding against De La Salle. Let's see where they enforce this from. But even a game like that's going on across town with Brother Martin Jesuit, you don't use New Orleans officials, even though both schools are from New Orleans. You've got to use officials from out of town.
Well, that changed years ago when the office of the LHSA was going to assign the officials. That kind of took away the politicking between two coaches figuring out what it is that they were going to do. With the hold, you can see it right there down at the bottom of your screen right there. And, the only problem I've got with the hold, yes, it was a hold, but it had no no impact on the play, which was 50 yards on the other side of the field.
Right. Milford from the gun, taking a shot down the field. Got a man open. Incomplete. Had a man down the seam. And it was just trying to throw that ball into the wind there, I think, Wade, is just
Well, what's harder is trying to get the number of the receiver right now. Can't get it with the jersey number kind of crumpled up right there, dark on dark.
That was Johnson. That was Montreal Johnson, I think, lined up in the slot that time, and they just sent him right down the seam.
Well, Montreal Johnson comes from his seam position and runs right down the center of the field to the post. The ball couldn't have been any prettier, laid out right there by the quarterback in and out of the hands of Johnson, and that's one Johnson's going to want back.
Yeah, well, it may be just a step underthrown. We get a sideline warning, stoppage of play, sideline warning against Teurlings. No penalty, just a warning at this point. So 3 receivers, bottom of your screen on 2nd and 10. Milford will throw the screen pass in and out of the hands of Montreal Johnson, incomplete.
Okay, all of a sudden we got a drops issue here, and that is something you usually don't see out of Montreal Johnson. They had the screen set up. They might still be running. They had 3 offensive linemen out in Montreal Johnson. The ball was set up nicely on the action.
3 receivers to that side who were out there blocking as well. So
so you had a whole slew of maroon jerseys out there ready to roll, and Montreal gets the ball and just drops it right there. Set up real well by Cole Milford. Cole Milford did a nice job drawing in that Teurlings defense.
2-by-2 formation. They run the draw on 3rd and 10, and not much doing this time as Byron Phillips gets about 3. So maybe they let this run down and then take one shot at it. Let's see.
Well, I can see them taking one last shot right here if they can get it off. They're trying to get their personnel shuffled in and out real fast.
You remember what happened at the end of the first half of the St. Charles Catholic game. They ran a play that was only going to leave a couple of seconds on the clock, and only their guy was going to catch it. It was Johnson that they threw it to. 8-7. Now we get a stoppage. This may be a timeout, Teurlings, and it is. Yeah, De La Salle didn't have one.
Well, they call the timeouts also, Lenny. They should be putting 7 seconds back on that clock. The clock kept running, and that's something De La Salle might have not noticed, and they're not arguing right now. There should be at least maybe 7 to 9 seconds left on that clock. Which added back into that 3.
That could be good and bad too, because you know now this is going to be the last play of the half, no matter what. So no matter what it is you do out there,
you're not going to argue about this.
You don't have a chance potentially of giving them the football back.
Right. So, now you should be able to get your personnel lined up in the right spots, which they were having trouble doing there before Teurlings calls a timeout.
So Teurlings does have one timeout remaining.
Let's see if they go back to running Montreal Johnson from an empty formation, maybe right down the center of the post, down the center of the seam again, see if they could take a shot like that. But I'm sure Teurlings is going to back up and play some sort of prevent defense.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to rush 3 and drop 8. And you've got guys back around the 20-yard line. I'm not sure I wouldn't have guys back even further than that, because your chance here is to throw the ball into the end zone. And look, Milford, trying to throw it into the wind is one thing. He's going to have to really step into one, probably. Johnson's lined up alongside of him right now.
Here comes a blitz.
And they run it to Johnson, and that's going to end the first half as he is brought down by Drake Boudreau, the senior. I think they were just possibly trying to get him into space right there and see what you could do. He's your best offensive weapon.
Or they looked at the numbers, like you said, 3 with a blitz coming off the edge and 8 in coverage. So what's ended up taking place there, they're just going to hand the ball off and try to let his athleticism take over and see if something would happen.
We are at halftime and what has been a very entertaining first half of football. Your score, De La Salle 14 and Teurlings Catholic 10. So here at halftime, as they're honoring senior members of the De La Salle Band, let's take a look at some scores from around the state. And we'll also look at some of these brackets as well as things set up here tonight. Let's start in Division 1. A final score now. Alberta's defeated St. Aug 31-14. That game actually started a little earlier than the rest of them. St. Aug, of course, with a long travel back.
Right.
So Bird is on to the semifinals now. They're the first team to punch their ticket for a semifinal. And at this point, it's looking like they could face John Curtis, who may have to make a trip to Shreveport next week, as Curtis leads Scotlandville 20-0 second quarter. On the other side of the bracket, Division 1, second quarter, Rummel leads Catholic 21-14. Brother Martin, the 1 seed, leads Jesuit 21-13. Initial thoughts on what you're seeing in Division 1?
Well, we talked earlier tonight that we even said that because of the strength of all the teams in Division 1, you could see some huge upsets take place tonight, right? We were talking about that. I'd like to really know how good this CE Bird team is coming out of Shreveport. We've heard a lot of things about them, haven't had a chance to see them.
Undefeated teams.
Right, undefeated team, and doing a number on a very talented and skilled St. Aud team tonight. This is apparently they're announcing their presence as they're moving on to the semifinals.
No question about it. Here in Division 2, of course, our score here 14-10 at halftime. The other part of this bracket at halftime, E.D. White leading Hannon 13-3. That game is being played at Southeastern tonight. Also at halftime, University Lab leading Vanderbilt Catholic 36-0. In second quarter, St. Thomas More leads Parkview Baptist 14-0. And so you're looking at and a likely STM U High semifinal there. As you jump over to Division 3, halftime, St. Charles leading Dunham 17-0. Halftime, Notre Dame leading Ascension Episcopal 29-0. That's the 2 and the 3, likely headed for a meeting next week in the semifinals. Second quarter, Episcopal leads Lafayette Christian 10-7. That's the 4-5 game. And I think a lot of people would have made Lafayette Christian the pick in that one. And then at halftime, Newman, the 1 seed, in a 7-7 game with Catholic of New Iberia over at Lupin Field. And maybe that's a bit of a surprise, much like we're seeing here, that 1-8, that 1-8 matchup. You just never know, though. That's
a bit of surprise, and it looks like St. Charles and Notre Dame are heading for another headbanger again. They've had those the past few years where they've met up in either in the semifinals.
No question about it. In Division 4, second quarter, Riverside on the road leading Vermilion Catholic 20-10. Halftime, Ouachita Christian leads Country Day 14-7. OCS is the 1 seed in that bracket. Halftime, Cedar Creek leading Southern Lab 14-12. Cedar Creek's the lower seed in that one, but got the home game by winning a first-round game on the road. And in second quarter, Calvary leading Catholic Point Coupee 21-10. Let's jump into the 5A bracket. And halftime, John Ehret, the team we saw last week, facing the only lower-seeded team to win on a 5A side last week, East St. John. And East St. John, the 18th seed, leads this one at home 13-7 at halftime. Also at halftime, West Monroe and Central 7-7. Halftime, Alexandria over Houghton 24-0. I think this was a lot of people's on an upset radar for him, but Alexandria is showing something here tonight. Zachary at home leads New Iberia 14-7 at half. Ruston on the road leads Ponchatoula 28-7 at halftime. And, we talked about the schedule that Teurlings has played, okay? Ruston played a brutal schedule, and as a result was much lower seeded than they probably should be. They were at 13, and then they are taking it to the 4, Ponchatoula, right now at halftime. Also at halftime, Dutchtown over Destrehan 7-3 at the half. It's Mandeville over Lafayette 10-0 in the 8-9 game. And in the 1-16 game, second quarter, Acadiana leads East Ascension 28-7. Any surprises to you in what you're seeing in 5A?
Well, that East St. John score is jumping out to me big. Heard a lot of great things about East St. John and their football team this year, having just gone through an overtime win, I believe, last week, and then coming in against this John Ehret football club that we know is extremely talented after we saw them last week. So, East St. John is one of those teams that I think is a surprise in that 5A bracket.
Second quarter score across the river. How about this one? Carr leading Estruma 52-19. It's not at halftime yet. 52-19. the Carr Cougars, are they headed back to the Dome once again?
Well,
long way to go. Long way to go on that road. We know one thing:
right.
They can't play Warren Easton in the Dome this year. It's got to happen in the semifinals. They're on the same side of the bracket.
Right. Well, I mean, are they always one of those teams that they need to save some of those points for the next game?
Maybe.
They never have been. Right. They just score it well.
Right. No doubt. Elsewhere, looks like all the high seeds in doing well right now. Eunice over Bell Chase, who was an upset winner a week ago, getting a chance to be at home this week, 14-0 at half. Tioga over North DeSoto, 21-0 second quarter.
Hearing great things about that Tioga team up there, how good they are.
No doubt. They went toe-to-toe with Brother Martin early in the year in one of those
pickup games
made by COVID matchups.
Right.
And it turned into 56-42. Second quarter, Neville over Westgate, 14-12. Halftime, Leesville leads Minden, 7-0. Second quarter, Plaquemine over Huntington, 28-7. Halftime, the 1-seed Karen Crow over DeRitter, 21-0. And one game tomorrow night over across the river at Hoss Memphis, Warren Easton and Landry will face off. Landry gets the right to be the home team by virtue of their road win in the first round. Quickly through 3A and some of the games that we're seeing there of local interest. Union Parish traveled down here to face Booker T. Washington, who was an upset winner in the first round. Got a chance to be at home at Pan American tonight. And Union Parish leads that one 23-13. St. James at halftime leads Sterlington by the score of 7-0. Goodwin second quarter, Donaldsonville over Madison Prep, 12-6. Jennings is the 1 seed going to the 17 seed Lutcher, and it's a good one right now, 17-14 Jennings, second quarter.
Well, Lutcher always turns it up another notch when they get into the playoffs, so it doesn't matter whether they're playing a higher seed or a lower seed. They're always ready for playoff time, and they do a great job up the river with that.
No doubt. Locally of interest in 2A, Kentwood leading Mangum 20-13 second quarter. St. Helena leading Bunkie 6-0 third quarter. And Amite on the road leading Red River 20-0. You talk about playoff tested teams that always turn it up this time of year. That's one of them right there, is Amite.
Right.
And they are on the road leading Red River 20-0. We mentioned earlier we did have one forfeit in the playoffs. South Plaquemine had to opt out because of COVID-19, and so Manny wins by forfeit and they advance. And then in Class 1A, let's see what is going on here. We mentioned the games that are in the on the select side there, and then beyond that, in local interest, West St. John at Logansport tonight. Logansport leading at 22-8 at halftime. That would be the one game with New Orleans area schools.
Well, West St. John always also knows when it's playoff time. They know how to turn it up a notch when it comes that time of the year too.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look at some of these brackets. Let's start. We were talking about Division I at the outset. Let's take a look at the Division I bracket and how this shakes out, obviously, going into tonight. What's going on in Division II, and of the 5A bracket as top portion of your bracket. And again, that's really headlined by Acadiana. And, look, it would not surprise me. Acadiana Ruston played an unbelievable game in the regular season. It could be Acadiana Ruston in the semifinals once again. And then you got John Ehret, the 2 seed, who's getting beat at halftime on the road against East St. John, which could really open up that side of the bracket. So just a quick look there, at what we saw in 5A. And, like we said, about 55 games going on tonight. You're going to have about half that many next week with quarterfinals on the non-select side and then the semifinals on the select side with the first 8 teams punching their tickets, for the Prep Classic next weekend. Again, with all 9 games going on back here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, December 26th, 27th, and 28th. I know that's always a fun time. That's right. That's where all 300 or so schools that play football, that's where they aspire. And
it's good that we're going to get a chance to have everybody in the dome this year. COVID has kind of settled that. As we all know, last year it didn't work out that way. There's still, ongoing negotiations and talks and provisions and ideas about trying to get everything back together, and that remains to be seen on what's going to happen with that. But it's nice in this year that's been so topsy-turvy in 2020 that we're going to get to see high school football championships, all classifications, all divisions in the Superdome in a few weeks. The week after Christmas.
Right, 9 games
Correct.
In 3 days. It will be a lot of fun. So here at halftime, it is De La Salle leading Teurlings Catholic by the score of 14-10. Lenny Van Gilder, Wade Kaiser, and our Crescent City Sports crew. Wade, let's take a look at our statistics here in the first half, which, as you look at these numbers, they've really been dominated by Teurlings. And one of the things that you're not seeing there on the screen as you look at the total numbers, the first quarter numbers, Wade, were 138-5 as De La Salle ran only 3 plays in the first quarter, but at least got some things going there in the second quarter, kind of narrow some of those deficits, if you will.
Well, it's been dominated by Teurlings, as you said. You can see the numbers right there for total yards, but we've got to remember De La Salle had their huge numbers of rushing yards were in huge chunk plays. Right, so and not snapping the ball very much in the first quarter, like you said. What's been impressive by Teurlings are the drives that they've put together to come away with points in both quarters. Right there, 117 yards passing. They've done a nice job with that. Boulay's done a great job with getting the ball out and finding the receivers and his checkdowns and things that he's got to do as far as his responsibility as a quarterback. And, he's kind of kept them, and he's kind of been the catalyst for them of that 202 yards that you see for Teurlings Catholic.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a De La Salle defense that came into tonight allowing only 127 yards a game. Teurlings had that before the end of the first quarter, but there was one big play in that first half that I think really started to turn things in the favor of the Cavaliers, and is probably a big reason why they are leading this game at the half. And it came early in the second quarter on De La Salle's third play of their second series when Montrell Johnson breaks through and finds a hole past the secondary, finally gets run down from behind, but not until he gains 69 yards to set up De La Salle's first touchdown. And Wade, that was a big play because without that, you're talking about trying to drive 80-plus yards into the wind after you've really been punched in the gut at that point. That really kind of swung the momentum of this football game and got the Cavaliers going. It got their offense going a little bit. They get 14 points there in the second quarter.
Well, Montel Johnson's done that all year, and it goes towards that 17.1 yard average every time he touches the ball. But they were running inside zone. Everything gets walled up to the play side. He gets a lateral cut backside against the zone, and he goes those 70 yards. That's what he does best. He uses his vision, uses his lateral movement, and then he uses his burst off of the lateral movement.
So, both coaches had a chance to visit with their teams. Take us inside those locker rooms and what you think was being said.
Well, De La Salle's talking about a way to stop Boulay and what he's doing, right? The zone reads, They've got to stop the zone read where he's pulling the ball, reading the backside end. The RPOs where they're getting the ball out on the flank real quick with the numbers out there where they might have a 3-on-2 situation and he's getting the ball out of there real quick and using their speed out on the flank. So they're making a few adjustments. They made an adjustment against the option in the first quarter by inverting their secondary down to try to get the numbers down towards the option play, and they've done a nice job with that. So they're in there talking adjustments on what they got to do to take away the best plays that Teurlings has been running in the first half. Okay. Now on the other side of the field, in that locker room for the Rebels, those guys are talking about, hey, we've got to keep the pedal to the metal, right? We've done a nice job this first half being able to move the ball up and down the field on this really good defense. So we've got to make sure that we don't put ourselves in bad positions. Let's clean up a couple of the personal fouls. If you remember, they had a couple of those in the first half that put them in a couple of bad situations. Let's clean that up, and let's continue to put the pedal down and move this football and put this pressure on this De La Salle defense and let the chips fall where they may.
Before we get set to start the third quarter, just some updates on some of the games involving New Orleans area teams going on around the state this evening. Third quarter now, Dutchtown leading Dastrehan 7-3. You surprised Dastrehan's been held to 3 in that game?
Absolutely. I mean, they're a high-scoring offense, especially with the extreme, really good running game with the Razan kid being at running back, and they're being held to 3 points is something that's kind of has me scratching my bald head.
Mine as well. Curtis Scotlandville is at the half, 20-0. Elsewhere in Division I, Rummel Catholic has reached half, 21-14. By the way, that game is being broadcast as part of the original tonight on 106.1 FM in the original network. And also at half, Brother Martinelli leading Jesuit 21-13. We got an update that Carr only scored 51, not 52 in the first half. So they're on pace for 102 instead of 104. That is crazy.
They're on pace.
That is a crazy score there.
Yes,
and Edie White leading Hannon 13-10 now, third quarter, and Lutcher has taken a 21-17 lead over Jennings. Remember, Jennings, not only the number 1 seed, made it to the Dome last year where they lost to St. James in the 3A final as a 22 seed, and you and Ken had the call when they played McDonough 35. Remember, they've got a
really nice
running back with a famous last name, Trevor Etienne, whose big brother Travis is still tearing it up at Clemson.
Yeah, well, Jennings is a very good football program with a storied history, and we got to see them last year, like you said, against MAC 35, and what a great football game that was with the Etienne running back doing his thing for Jennings. And but look, it's Lutcher, and it's playoff time, and if you're from this part of the state of Louisiana, you know a couple of things. Lutcher is in it, and Lutcher is always ready to play in the playoffs.
No doubt. Dwayne Jenkins does a great job with that program. Both teams back on the sidelines, just about set to get things underway in the third quarter. De La Salle has the option to receive the second half kickoff. Now, this was one thing that always intrigued me, Wade, especially in a tight game like this. Do you want the win now, or do you want the win in the fourth quarter if you've got the option?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. A lot of times it depended on how everything was going for me in the first half. Did I have to come out here and make a statement, in the third quarter? Do I have to get something going by motivating my kids? So, all right, let's go ahead and take the win now, and let's put some points on the board and get us going?
Yep.
Or is this such a defensive contest where I want that last quarter to have every tool I can to be able to maybe kick a field goal and win a football game?
Well, De La Salle's going to have the win. They're going to get the ball, and they're going to have the win in the fourth quarter. Teurlings took it for the third. Here's the kickoff that will be once again in play, does not reach the end zone. And here, with another pretty decent return out there, not as good as his last one, P.J. Martin gets it out to about the 27-yard line.
Well, I think we're going to see more of the Montrell Johnson show here in the second half, also with a sprinkle in of the fine running back Byron Phillips involved in that. But the guy that really kind of controls the whole tempo of everything is Cole Milford for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, we don't talk a lot about him. I mean, he averages about 11 pass attempts a game, about 4 rushes a game, but you don't want to call him a game manager. That's not really complimentary to quarterbacks, but he is. It's good to have a veteran back there. Taking it on first down is Phillips without much room to run. He might have lost a yard.
Julian Leblanc, the nose guard, or the shade nose, whichever you want to call it, depending on his alignment. 6 foot, 200-pound senior. We've called his name a couple of times tonight already. Met Johnson in the backfield for a loss of about 2.
So the Cavs will play 2nd down and 11, just underway here in the third quarter. Throw it out far side. And not much room to run, as that is well defended by the Teurlings defense. Connor Kleinpeter up from his strong safety position. And that was Martin on the catch for no gain.
Kleinpeter makes a great play out there. He plays off the block, gets the block away from him. He sheds the block and then comes up with a nice tackle.
So 3rd down and 11 from the 28 is Teurlings got to stop right before the half, as De La Salle was perhaps looking to play add-on after they got the football back. And 2 plays have netted -1 thus far for the Cavaliers here in the third quarter. Milford puts it down and goes, but he is going to be dragged down short of the first down at about the 35-yard line.
First time tonight we've seen the Rebels jump into a nickel or a dime look, I guess you would say, on defense. 3 down linemen on the rush, and they drop 8 into coverage right there. Well, we saw it just before the end of the second half, but this is the first time normally in a normal down and distance situation that we've seen them do that.
So Millette, the first time he punted, had the wind at his back, and boom, 160-plus yards. Let's see what he does kicking into the wind this time. No respect from the Teurlings return man, who's at the 37-yard line, only 28 yards deep, and this is a kick that has a squibber that will roll out of bounds at looks like the 48-yard line. They're going to come up to the 46. That ball looked like it rolled out right at the 48, but they'll get a couple of yards out of it. So this is going to be just 11 yards on the punt.
Well, that's not going to do much for your average.
Well, when you had the 60-something and then the 11, you average it out, it comes out to about 35, 36 or so. He came in averaging 34.
All right. Brings them back to par, right? Okay, so, yeah, interesting fact right there, that only cleared the line of scrimmage by about 4 or 5 yards. And, there would have been some things that would have come into detail there if that ball would have bounced at line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage in Federation rules that could have came into play for the kicking team.
Right, the kicking team could have potentially advanced the football.
Right.
Option on first down. The quarterback will keep it himself and get up near the sticks as Caden Boulay put it down and went with it on the option and got 9.
All right, same option we've seen in the first half. De La Salle does a nice job inverting from their secondary, coming down, doing a good job, getting right there with their numbers. Only thing is Caden Boulay does a great job pulling that ball off of it, and he's hard to tackle. He's kind of slippery, and he picks up nice yardage on that option.
Boulay will throw it on 2nd and 1 out in the far flat. Julian Guy makes the catch. Called his name a bunch tonight, out to about the 28-yard line.
Have you noticed, it seems to me that the Teurlings offense, what they want to do is they want to try to get outside and outflank this De La Salle team by running their options, their read zones, and things of that nature, and get it out on the flank real fast because they can't run that ball up inside against that front of De La Salle.
Put it at the 27. Quarterback will keep it off the left side, and brought down after a gain of about 4. As Boulay looked like Kedrick Richardson on the tackle, just a freshman. And we talked about, that's one thing when you're building a program like Ryan Manali has done at De La Salle, and he's going for a win tonight that would mean his 5th consecutive trip to a state semifinal. But you got a lot of young guys who are playing a big part on both sides of the football.
Right. Well, Ryan Manal has never been afraid of playing young kids and getting them experience.
No doubt. What a move there. Didn't quite get to the sticks, but Richard made a spin move to avoid one tackler and got it out to about the 20-yard line.
Still spreading the ball around, the Rebel offense getting it into the hands of their playmakers and doing things to be able to keep this De La Salle defense off balance. They're getting pressed tonight. This De La Salle defense is getting pressed tonight. They haven't been used to that.
No, not. Look, when you look at their scores this year, the closest game they've played was that 21-0 game that we had against St. Charles Catholic. Again, it was 7-0 at halftime. And they quickly jumped out with a touchdown in the second half to make it 14-0 and just added one on to pull away. Pass is caught. First down. Still on his feet. Inside the 10. Still on his feet. And into the end zone for a touchdown goes Tyrick Gary. What a run. What a score.
They brought Tyrick Gary across the formation in boot action. He's wide open in between the linebackers. Doing what he does, Caden Boulay does a nice job delivering the ball. Watch the delivery right here. Wide open between the linebackers. Make one miss. Continue running. Missed tackle 1, missed tackle 2, missed tackle 3. Drags one into the end zone. Great job by Tyrick Gary.
Gary came in 389 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Only had 6 catches in the regular season for 81 yards, but showed you some receiving skills and some serious moves right there as they tend to an injured Cavalier player.
Can't see the number of the downed Cavalier right now.
You've got players on both teams taking a knee in prayer while they tend to the injured player.
You know, but credit this Rebel offense the way they're spreading the ball around tonight.
No doubt.
They're
Getting
it on the flank. They're getting it outside and making this De La Salle team have to cover a lot of field in order to be able to stop their offense. And the guy that's at the helm of it, the guy that's making it go, the guy that's driving this car is Caden Boulay.
Teurlings has once again taken the lead as Tyler Lawlin, the junior defensive lineman, a couple of sacks on the season, is carried off. Point after try is good, and with 7:13 remaining here in the third quarter, your new score, Teurlings 17 and De La Salle 14. So Wade, if you're Dane Chaponche, you could not have drawn this up any better to come out in the third quarter. You get a 3-and-out, you get a short punt, and you go right down the field and score the go-ahead touchdown.
Well, that's the way the script was written. You know, that's the other thing. You know, we were talking about what was going on in the locker rooms. That's the other thing that Dane Chaponche was telling his team. He says, you know, if we're going to keep the pedal to the metal, that means that we've got to come out right now and make a statement, get a 3-and-out, and put some points on the board. And as scripted, that's what the Rebels did. The question is how is De La Salle going to answer now? They've got to come back off of that 3-and-out and make some offensive adjustments right there.
So we'll see. The Cavaliers can provide an answer as they have just about every time after Teurlings has scored this evening. Tate drills this one. This is into the end zone for a touchback, and De La Salle will play it from the 20. One thing we've seen in these last 2 series is it looks like Teurlings has really done a much better job up front against the De La Salle run game, and they're really doing a good job of taking it away, maybe trying to make them almost one-dimensional and force the Cavaliers and Cole Milford to try to beat them through the air.
Well, they're sitting in their 8-man front and they're bringing their safeties down into the box, which is giving them 10 in the box. Yeah. See, right there, the safety comes downhill so fast. Number 26 right there does a great job flying up from his safety position, and that was It looks like Alex Entrepont does a nice job from his safety position getting down in the box to make that tackle.
And nowhere once again for Montreal Johnson to go.
Well, when you're playing with 10 in the box, you're going to have to throw the ball. You're just outnumbered, not enough people to block the hats that are in there. So you're going to have to come up with some sort of other idea to be able to get those safeties out of the box. They're playing at about 8 yards deep off the ball.
It's 3rd down and 6. The Rebel bench and the Rebel fans on their feet. Milford taking a shot down the field. It is caught. What a catch on the near side.
Well, that's what you've got to do right there. You're going to have to take your shot. They went against the 1-and-1 right there against Nick Underwood at their corner. So they run the fade route. Ball's put on the money. Nice throw by Milford to be able to pick up that first down.
That was Mackay Paris on the catch. For a gain of 22. Now you give it away to Johnson, and when you throw it, you can open things up. Flag in the backfield, though, may bring this one back as Johnson sprints down the sideline for what would have been a 54-yard touchdown, but hold everything.
I think that might be coming back with a hold or a block in the back.
And Ryan Manali is livid on the near sideline. He's like, where was the call?
Well, I mean, what a move by Montreal Johnson to break away. You'll see it right here. He's going to stutter step and get right out onto the edge, and then you really didn't get to see the hold or the block in the back there as he was breaking away from the pack. That's coming all the way back. Oh man, that's the dagger in the back. Those are the things that you look back on the next day and say, wow, a penalty here and something like that there, and that could be the difference between winning or losing a football game.
So 1st and 19 at the 37-yard line. Give it to Phillips, trying to get the edge, and again, there's just more white jerseys out there than you can block, and they run him down for a loss of 3.
Well, Nick Underwood, the corner, does a nice job setting the edge. You see, that's not really Byron Phillips' game. Byron Phillips' game isn't out there. Byron Phillips' game is inside those tackles. He likes to run downhill on the inside zones. When he gets out there, that pursuit's going to catch up with him out there, and that was a great job by Nick Underwood setting the edge and allowing the rest of the white jerseys from the Rebels to get there and make a play.
So it's 2nd down and 22. The ball now at the 34-yard line. Give it away once again to Phillips, and he might have got a couple. 3rd down and 20, and this is not De La Salle's game by any means to play 3rd and 20.
It's not many people's teams by any means. I mean, the 3rd and 20 call is just, it's a horrendous call that you got to try to make, but so what do you do? Teurlings is going to probably go to their dime or nickel defense right here to try to play some pass coverage, and De La Salle at least wants to try to get some field position so they can punt that ball out of there.
Milford buying time, lets it fly. It is incomplete. A lot of white jersey hands were in the middle of that with a chance to possibly pick it off, and you got an injured De La Salle player right about the 50-yard line.
The old adage is you don't throw back across your body. You don't throw back across your body. That's Brett Favre, right? And that's what Milford was trying to do right there. And they're lucky that didn't get picked by the Rebels, because there were a lot of white jerseys around that, and he's trying to force the ball into something which could have possibly made a huge mistake. And, that could have been detrimental right here with a 3-point deficit they're trying to make up.
As Johnson comes off, let's take a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Louisiana Dental Center, your dental home team with 19 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. We'll see you today. Go to ladentalcenter.com to find out more.
That's Montrell Johnson limping off the field. Looks like either an ankle or a knee injury that he's ginger on as he's walking off the field right there. That would be a devastating blow if he can't answer the call for the rest of this football game for the Cavaliers. Well, it looks like he's all right. He's saying, get away from me. So I don't think he wants out of this contest.
So Millette back on after a punt last time that only traveled 11 yards. We'll look to get something better off this time, and he does. We'll take a little bit of a De La Salle roll and come to rest at the 39-yard line. It'll be a 25-yard punt. So Teurlings takes over with 4:09 remaining here in the third quarter, leading this one by the score of 17-14. If you're Eddie Jacquelard and this De La Salle defensive coaching staff, what kind of adjustments now do you need to make based on what you've seen?
No, I think Eddie needs to get into his three-man front or his odd front and try to be able to get those outside linebackers and his strong safeties more involved in the outside running game of the Rebels, especially on the options and the zone reads. And here comes the option again.
Getting to the outside, but only getting a couple of yards that time was Larkin Spring.
Well,
and a late flag comes in over within the bench, it looked like.
This would be the third one that we've seen over there this game. But you saw a nice adjustment right there by the secondary from De La Salle coming up and making a play on the option that time. I think they figured that out. They just got to tackle it. But I'd like to see, as you said, De La Salle mix in some of their odd front a little bit so they can get a little bit of their better athlete out there on the flank to play their RPO game and their zone read game.
It's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against De La Salle, so add 15 on to the end of the run, and it's going to put Teurlings in De La Salle territory.
Well, that's, when you're fighting an uphill battle, that kind of adds fuel to the fire. You don't want to see that. So they're going to mark that thing off, and here we are. We're playing on De La Salle's side of the field with 3:58 left in the third quarter.
At the Cavalier 43. 2-by-2 formation. Boulay will try to keep it, and that time it is well defended by the Cavalier front.
That was Dwayne Tillis on that tackle right there, defensive end. They just couldn't get around with the zone read that time. He sat and played it perfectly. He didn't chase. They changed it looked like they changed the read of the defensive end that time to take the quarterback off the zone read.
2nd and 15. They'll go screen. Room to run, and then some. Out past the 30, out past the 25, and I believe that was Tyrek Gary once again, out past the 20-yard line.
Well, they get the blockers out there in front of them on the screen. They don't do a good job with the safety coming down and filling into the alley. They got Dwayne Tillis that time. That's how you slow down Dwayne Tillis right there, is you throw the screen over him, and then they're off to the races. A couple of blocks. They're working now inside the 20-yard line.
So Teurlings back in the red zone at the De La Salle 18.
That's the quickest way you slow down a real fast defensive end is you screen them. And that's exactly a tailor-made off of the recipe for the Teurlings Rebels.
Whistle before this one can get underway, and it's a false start against Teurlings, which will put them behind the chains.
Except for we saw, I think, one offsides in the first half. We haven't seen a lot of sloppiness with
not pre-snap penalties.
Right, procedures, offsides, those sort of things. It's been very, very clean. What you don't want to see is some of the unsportsmanlike things that we've seen. No. We've seen 3 or 4 of those tonight.
So from the 23 now. This way, incomplete, as Boulay trying to throw near side on the slant. That was intended for Chavis.
That's another thing right there, Lenny, that you haven't seen out of Boulay tonight. I mean, that's kind of really the second off-target pass we've seen. We had one in the first half that was kind of underthrown on a curl route, and there he misses the slant behind the intended receiver, Chavez.
Run the option this time using the receiver. I think the ball came out. It did. The ball is loose, but it's picked up by Larkin Spring. A heads-up play.
Well, that was very well defended that time. They really got the option down, and they tackle this time. They take the dive. They've got the quarterback taken care of. They've got the pitch taken care of with a nice hit out there. The ball's on the ground, and like you said, Spring, just Johnny on the spot. He sees it, and he hustles over and gets on that thing, or it could have been detrimental and catastrophic for Teurlings.
Line to make is the 8-yard line. Boulay will throw the little pass out in the flat to Spring. He stepped out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. It's going to be 4th and 4, and it's decision time for Dane Chapanche. He certainly got the kicking game right here that can knock this through, but you're up by 3.
You take the 3. All right, but I want to get back to Larkin right there. Larkin Spring does a nice job. He's kind of, you look at him on the hoof and he doesn't look very fast. They get the ball out there onto the flank. He's very deceiving in his speed. So all of a sudden, he's out-leveraged you with his speed, and you're not making a tackle. And before you know it, he's picked up 5, 6, 7 yards.
Boudreaux from 29. A little bit of a low snap, and a kick is blocked. And I think that was Deontay Leblanc coming off the edge to get the block.
Deontay Leblanc comes off of his left side. You'll see it right here. And he's going to bang it down in the ground. Pop, right there. That's just what the doctor ordered for De La Salle to be able to come up with a huge special team play right there. And they'll take the ball over at the 20-yard line.
Now the momentum you get for that is what you need to capitalize on right here. Try to carry that into something.
All that, and you're getting here in 2 minutes and 2 seconds, you'll be getting the wind at your back.
No doubt about it. On first down, run it off the right side, but nothing doing once again as Byron Phillips is bottled up after a gain about 1.5 yards.
De La Salle up front with their offensive line is huge, okay? And if you look at Teurlings' defensive line, they're not very big at all. A couple of 200-pound guys in there. We talked about Julian Leblanc already. They're giving up a lot of size inside, but it's something that these guys are doing inside to be able to stymie the inside running game right there of De La Salle. It's got to be cut back. It's got to be bounced back. It's just not being rammed up inside in those A-gaps right there. So you got to credit that Teurlings defensive line for standing up to that huge offensive line of De La Salle.
Johnson, just a slow developing play right there and not much doing, maybe 1 yard again.
Right there, they pinch their defensive ends and their defensive tackles. A lot of movement going on out of those guys up front for Teurlings. So they're kind of quicker off the ball than that De La Salle offensive line. Look for De La Salle trying to get the ball outside off tackle a little bit with some outside zone stretches and things of that nature to try to create some running room.
Clock ticking under a minute here in the third quarter. 3rd down and 7 at the 23. Once again, it's a run, but room this time, and a first down and more. Montrell Johnson with his best run since that big 69-yard run back in the second quarter. Of course, he had the 54-yard touchdown run that was called back by holding. He gets 14 on that one. and moves the chains.
And that's where they hit him, right there off tackle with the gap counter play. Gap down, gap down, gap down, kick out the defensive end right there. The Teurlings defensive line slanted opposite the gap play, and it was a huge pickup for Montrell Johnson running off tackle counter right there. First down, Cavaliers.
So the clock will continue to run down, and I think Ryan Manali is content to let the clock run out, switch ends, and play with the wind in the fourth quarter. And the De La Salle players are imploring the home crowd on our side here to get into it. We have played 12 minutes to go. Could we be seeing an upset in the making? Through 3, Teurlings 17, De La Salle 14.
Dance team to the field.
So here we go in the fourth quarter. Will it be a fourth quarter comeback for the Cavaliers, or will it be the completion of an upset for the Rebels? Lenny Van Gilder, Wade Kaiser here with you on a chilly Friday night in Metairie at Joe Yenny Stadium. De La Salle now working with the wind. Play action on first down. Milford's going to take a shot down the field. Got a man! Caught inside the 20, first down.
What a ball by Milford. Lays it out perfectly. Takes a shot, got the wind behind him. Immediately goes after the secondary of the Rebels. Great pass, right on the numbers for Milford.
That was Paris on the catch, I believe. Got it out to the 17-yard line. Let's see where they put it down. Looks like they're going to put it down at the 16. Check that. Gain of 47 on the play.
You know, that started up front with the protection for the Cavaliers. Those guys on the offensive line gave Milford a lot of time to step up and heave that thing down the field. Great job by that offensive line.
Handed off Montrell Johnson. Cut it back. Got it out to about the 13-yard line.
There was the counter play again, trying to cut it back off tackle right there for a pickup of about 3 or 4 yards.
So second down and about 7.
You'll see
that explains, as we look at that way, that explains the whole idea of Ryan Manali letting the clock run out there in the third quarter and then coming down, and you get the chance to operate with the wind, and you take a shot play with the wind at your back. Johnson in the backfield is tied up. Quite the play by the nose guard, Julian Leblanc, who has been all over the field tonight. We have called his name a bunch of times.
Julian Leblanc slants right there. Nobody picks up the penetration in the A-gap, and he bangs up Johnson in the backfield. This quick Teurlings defensive line is moving around up front, slanting and twisting and doing a lot of things to try to create a lot of havoc for that De La Salle offensive line.
3 wide receivers. Milford, play action, throws, tried to get Johnson on the wheel route, and a flag is down. Jake Emanuel, the linebacker, had Johnson in coverage And that was a mismatch.
Well, it was a mismatch, and Jake Emanuel didn't have anything else but to be able to interfere with them because they ran Johnson out of the backfield on the wheel route. Nobody was there except the linebacker, and had he not interfered with him, that had been caught. That had been 6 points Cavaliers.
Wait on the call here. They will put it half the distance to the goal, put it down at the 8-yard line. Interesting, the referee waits for the ball to be marked off, and then he gives us the signal.
That is interesting. Yeah. You know, what happened to the preliminary call? Remember that?
No, wait. Now they've still got third down on the sticks.
Right. Well, hold on.
Is it 3rd and 2 or is it 1st and goal? Now, I know there's not many things that are automatic first downs in high school football, and I think pass interference is one of those, right?
No, it is not. Pass interference is not automatic first down anymore.
So instead of 3rd and 10, now it's 3rd and 2.
2, that is correct. There you go. They get half the distance, and it's 3rd and 2.
Ball at the 8. Cavaliers down 3, looking for a tying field goal or perhaps a go-ahead touchdown. Now Milford under center will look to sneak it. Got a surge. Let's see where they'll spot the football. Looks like it's right at where the sticks are. Second time we've seen him do that tonight.
Milford on the carry.
You know, again, that's a design play. They're going to come up and goose that center, and they're going to apex or wedge that offensive line to try to knock that defensive line off the ball.
So 8th play of the drive coming up here, and that's going nowhere again.
Penetration again by the Teurlings Rebels.
Byron Phillips lost, looks like about 1.5 yards on first down, make it 2.
Right. Sinateri was there to make the tackle. Jake Emanuel was there to make a tackle. A lot of penetration in the backfield right there for that loss.
A lot of credit to this Teurlings defense. It came in, they allowed 24 points a game. Facing an offense that averages 40 points and almost 400 yards a game, and they have gone toe-to-toe. Quarterback keeper. Milford down inside the 5 to about the 4. Went with the read option right there, Wade.
Well, I think there was a little bit more design, Lenny, right there. He pulls that thing. There really wasn't much read. They tried to get a hat on everybody on that defensive line. He just takes the ball out of the ride, and he runs it up inside and tries to pick up whatever yardage he can.
Down by 3. Is this 4-down territory?
Absolutely.
I think we got a timeout from Teurlings before this play could get underway.
I think,
and indeed it was.
I think it's all 4-down territory depending on what happens on this 3rd down play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So let's put yourself in both huddles right here. What is Ryan Manali and the De La Salle offense talking about? And then what is Dane Chapanche and the Teurlings defense talking about?
Well, Ryan Manali doesn't really want to go 4th down and get in that decision, so he's going to dial his best play up right here. Got it? So he's dialing it up. So what's Dane Chapanche and his defensive staff talking about? They're going to get into make sure they understand what coverage they want to be in and what front they want to be in for this very important 3rd down play. This might be one of the most important plays for De La Salle all year.
No
right
doubt
here.
about it.
So
look, you haven't been in a close game in the second half, other than the early moments of the second half against St. Charles Catholic.
Much less be down by 3 in the 4th quarter, and you got the ball on the 3-yard line, right? 4-yard line. So, you know, what is Teurlings doing? They know their call. They know what they're calling. They want to make sure everybody understands what the call is, and they are assignment sound. They reminded their kids of every little thing real quick right there for this 3rd down play. So
you got Paris out wide, you got a lot of people in tight, and Johnson alongside Milford. Give it away, Montrell Johnson. Got the edge. He is in for the touchdown.
Think players, not plays. Think players, not plays. Put the ball in the hands of your players. So who has brought you to this dance? Montrell Johnson has brought you to this dance. Make sure the ball is in his hands somehow, some way. Call your play and trust that you can get the job done. They got the job done. De La Salle goes up 2017 with the impending PAT.
10 plays, 80 yards, 5 minutes and 5 seconds off the clock. Helmke to make this a 4-point lead. Low snap, but it's handled, and the kick is on the way, and it is good. So with 8:59 to play, your new score is De La Salle 21 and Teurlings 17.
Seconds to play, fourth quarter. De La Salle 21, Teurlings 17.
We talked, Wade, about the potential momentum shift after that blocked field goal, but De La Salle had to pay it off, and it's exactly what they did with that 80-yard, 10-play drive.
And it was very well done, very well executed. Started with that huge pass downfield, taking that shot once the quarter turned around, and they polish it off with Montrell Johnson putting it in the end zone.
A lot of good football going on around the state tonight. Invite you to check out the All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard at CrescentCitySports.com for all of the latest scores, to find out how your team is doing, maybe how the other teams in your bracket are doing. Is your team moving on? Is your team going home? It's only one place to find out, right there on the All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard at CrescentCitySports.com. So Helmke will kick this off with the wind at his back. He put one in the end zone in the first quarter with this opportunity. And this will reach the end zone once again, so Teurlings will begin at the 20. Down 21-17.
Look for Teurlings to continue what has been successful for them here tonight. Caden Boulay getting the ball in the hands of his guys out on the flank, creating opportunities for the deceptive speed of guys like Spring and Chavez and Guy and Richard to be able to operate out there around the flank of the De La Salle defense.
The De La Salle faithful cheering on their defense. This will be a quarterback run on first down, and it is well defended that time by a host of Cavaliers.
They tried that back in the first quarter, didn't have much success with it, and here we are at 8:45 in the fourth quarter. They still don't have much success with it because of those guys that are in maroon right there in the middle. You saw a big Kenneth Johnson right there use a spin move at his 3 technique to come off the block and make a bang in the in the backfield on Caden Boulay.
2nd and 9. Man in motion. They'll go with the motion man on the pitch, and it once again is well defended, and I believe that was Vincent Variste on the stop.
Vincent Variste plays off the block, comes off and takes the pitch right there. I think they've got the answer for the Teurlings option.
Teurlings trying to go quick here on 3rd and 9. Ball at the 21. Screen pass has been good for him all night long, and it is again, but the ball's out, and De La Salle has recovered it. A big hit on the running back, Larkin Spring, and the Cavaliers come away with the football. I believe that was Frankie Bentley who recovered the ball.
Well, Larkin Spring was off to the races. The screen was set up as all the other ones tonight, really nicely done. And the hit from behind, the ball just gets popped out. And then
Michael Thomas, I believe, got the hit.
Michael Thomas pops it out from behind. Nice job stripping the ball out of Spring's hands right there. And De La Salle is back in business on the Teurlings side of the field.
Call it the 38-yard line. Neither team has had a 2-score lead in this game tonight. It's been back and forth with 5 lead changes. Cavaliers trying to change that right here. Looking to capitalize off the turnover. It's Phillips on first down. Still churning. Out near the sticks. Let's see where they spot it.
That's where Phillips makes his mark, inside those.
This simply wearing down a defense right now, what we're seeing.
Well, I think it's a couple of things. Number one, they're trying to get the hat on the hat, which they've done. They changed an offensive formation, and they brought in a second tight end, fullback tight end to their formation, with Kyle Bro being the big tight end or H-back. And being able to do that, they're getting the extra blocker up on the linebacker to give guys like Phillips right to run downhill.
Look to bounce this outside. He gets to the outside. Still on his feet, falls forward, got it to about the 20. It's going to be third down, maybe a yard and a half.
So what they've done is they've brought in those two fullbacks or two tight ends, which are acting as H-backs. So now that's giving them 7 blockers at the point of attack. So what they've done is they've actually been able to get a hat on a hat to be able to run inside the tackles.
Clock will tick towards the 6-minute mark. Similar to what we saw De La Salle do in 2017 when they had Julian Gums at quarterback. They were really a lot of, stay in tight with formations and just, use those extra tight ends and H-backs. Play clock at 2. Quarterback sneak. Looks like they got the push and got the first down.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Every time Milford gets under center, what are they going to do?
Sneak the football.
Okay.
At some point, you're not going to. It's one of those things where...
Okay, but you get my point here, right? I mean, I don't get it. If
you run the same play 100% of the time out of a certain formation, you're right.
Thank you.
As coaches know, a lot of times you've always got something else in your pocket there to set it up, where at one time you're going to run play action and take a shot to a tight end.
I would definitely hope so. Okay, all right. So that's just me. I mean, those are some of my pet peeves.
We got whistles before this one can get underway, and I believe it's a De La Salle timeout. Let's see.
I mean, as long as you've known me in this gig that I've got with you guys, I've got my pet peeves, right? And you've learned those, right? And one of those is, if you're going to take a snap under center, you take a snap under center for other things besides just quarterback sneaks.
It's an official timeout, I believe, not a timeout De La Salle. Let's see, will they now they'll wind it. They wind it, but neither clock. Now the clocks are moving as we will tick under 5.5 minutes to play. That's one of the things Ryan Manali wants to do right now, is use clock.
And just burn that clock. Try to get into that 4-minute offense.
Trying to get to the outside. There's a flag down behind the play as Johnson can't quite turn the corner, but did get it to the edge and got it to the 9-yard line.
Usually when that flag's behind a play, you're going to get a holding.
And it is.
Or a block in the back, and I think we've got a holding.
That was the indication.
And it was a preliminary call. There we go. That's what we like to see. See that call early. Again, that's not, the thing that you want to do when you're trying to run the clock out. You got to try to keep those hands within the framework of the body. Don't grab jerseys behind the play. Don't do things that's going to start marking off needless yards that you're trying to advance to be able to keep that clock rolling.
So now it's first down and 19 at the 27-yard line. That's one of my pet peeves in Federation rules, is that holding is a spot foul. It should just be from the line of scrimmage. If you're trying to make it for ease of enforcement, as so many Federation rules are, then make it from the line of scrimmage.
Right. Well, that's one of the old ones that goes back to the old days.
Faked the jet sweep, and the quarterback kept it, and Milford got the penalty yards back and then some.
How about Milford running over the safety about 10 yards downfield, ducking that shoulder like a tailback and picking up extra yards. Watch Milford right here off the quarterback counter. Just keep your eye, bang, right there. See the safety step into the box right there? He lowers his shoulder like a fullback, and I'm not a quarterback, mister. I'm going to pick up extra yards, and I'm going to be a running back, and I'm going to pick up those lost yards that we lost on the penalty.
Yeah, gain of 12. It's 2nd and 7. The ball at the 15-yard line. Phillips on the carry to about the 11. Now, at some point here, if you're Dane Chaponche, you got to start thinking about your timeouts.
I was just fixing to say that. You're getting under 350. You're going to start thinking about using some of those, a couple of those, or those 2 timeouts that you have in your back pocket, because you want to try to make sure that you've got some time to be able to mount some sort of counter offensive here to get some points, right? So.
Whistles before this can get started, and I believe it is a timeout, De La Salle, with 3:10 to play. They'll talk about it, a 3rd and about 3 at the 11-yard line. We can tell you that the winner of this game will play E.D. White in the semifinals. E.D. White, a winner tonight over Archbishop Hannon, 16-13. That game was played at Southeastern.
Good football game in Hammond.
So E.D. White, the 5 seed, advances past the 4. Now, if De La Salle wins, of course, they are at home in the semifinals. If Teurlings wins, they would have to travel to Thibodaux.
E.D. White, 16. Hannon, 13.
So, you know the folks down in Thibodaux are pulling hard for a Teurlings comeback right here.
Well, we'd like to welcome all of our friends in Thibodaux who have hopefully tuned into our broadcast to be able to pick up the last 3 minutes, 10 seconds of this exciting football game that we've had here at Joe Yenny Stadium.
Third and 3 at the 11. Two out wide to the top. Now they'll bring man in motion, fake the jet sweep, give it to the running back, Byron Phillips, who will get the first down.
Well, this is
first time we've seen that tonight. They brought P.J. Martin in motion, and they ran the counter off of it with Phillips.
Nice blocking up front by that De La Salle offensive line. You're definitely going to have to start thinking about using those timeouts if you're the Rebels right here.
As they'll put it at the 7-yard line.
Just running that clock all the way down, burning it as much as they possibly can on the 40-second clock as well as on the game clock. They'll snap it with inside 4 seconds.
Give it away, and Phillips stays on his feet and is in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Byron Phillips.
Again, running inside the tackles. Byron Phillips loves to run downhill, bring all 5'9", 212 pounds of that body downhill on a zone run right there. And you can see, bang, he's going to churn and burn and duck those shoulders and get north and south and get into the end zone for a huge score to put De La Salle up 27-17, 2-score game.
With 2:20 to play. Point after is good for the first time tonight. We have a 2-score lead. It comes with only 140 seconds remaining in this football game. Your new score, De La Salle 28, Teurlings 17. Wade, this fourth quarter has been just De La Salle exerting their will, I think.
Well,
it really got started with that pass play over the top on the first play of the quarter, but since then, it has all been what De La Salle does best, and that's run the football.
Well, run the football and get the field position turned around to where you have the wind at your back and you can take that shot with confidence. And it paid off for them.
9 plays, 38 yards. Okay, a 38-yard drive took 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's exerting your will.
That's exerting your will, but that's also using the clock as, keep in mind, we're at the 2:20 mark of the fourth quarter, and Teurlings Catholic has run 3 plays in this quarter. Helmke to kick it away. De La Salle now with a little breathing room with a 2-score lead. They'll squib it on the ground. This will roll out of bounds. And so Teurlings will get the football at the 35-yard line with 2:20 left. The squib is a good idea. I mean, you don't want to miss-hit something and give somebody a chance to return something, but you got to keep it in the field to play as well.
Well, you've got to know your kicker, okay? So if you know your kicker can put it in the end zone and he's not going to miss it, you go ahead and put that thing in the end zone. So what that says to me is they didn't have a lot of confidence that he could possibly miss-hit that football, so they elected to put it on the ground so that way you don't get a run back. But you got to also put it in bounds like you said, no doubt.
Teurlings opens a possession from the 35-yard line. They need 2 scores. They've got only 2:20 left. Pass is intercepted. It went off the hands of the receiver, Richard, and it was intercepted.
Lenny, Teurlings was trying to set up the hook and lateral that time. I don't know if you noticed the back coming out of the backfield on a swing. The ball's overthrown and it's picked off right there by De La Salle, but they're trying to set up a trick play to be able to throw the quick hook and lateral it back to the back coming out of the backfield. And it was one of the few bad throws you've seen tonight out of Caden Boulay to be able to not get the ball in the hands of the wide receiver so he could lateral it back. And now De La Salle has nothing to do except run this clock out. And
Teurlings does have all 3, or 2 timeouts remaining, I should say. 2 timeouts remaining. You make them using, you probably need 1 first down to wrap this one up.
Need 1 first down. So you
Montrell Johnson will carry it on first down and get a couple.
So you got to run the ball. Teurlings should be using their timeouts right here.
And here's the other thing just about how De La Salle has dominated the quarter. They ran that first play, the long pass after the start of the quarter, started from their 37-yard line. Every other play in the fourth quarter has been run on the Teurlings end of the field.
Well, field position leads to a lot of good things happening, and it has in the fourth quarter for De La Salle.
This has been an outstanding game. This has been an outstanding night of week 2 of Louisiana high school playoff football, and we will have more playoff action for you next Friday night. Stay with us at Crescent City Sports. We will tell you when and where we will be.
De La Salle's going to have to run the football again here. One more time. If they can pick up the first down, it's all but over.
On the ground. That is, I believe, Phillips that time on the carry. Yeah, that was Phillips on the carry. Got it out to the 30. It's 3rd and 4, and that will be the last time out.
Yes, that should be Teurlings' last time out.
Right.
The scoreboard shows 2, but they've just taken 2 in a row, so that should be it.
So 3rd down 4, the ball at the 30-yard line. So basically, here's your ball game. De La Salle makes a first down. You go into a coach's favorite formation victory, you kneel it out, and you're on to the semifinals for a 5th consecutive year. And you look at what Ryan Manali has done with this program, okay? This was a program that had been to one state championship game in its history before he arrived. You know, and he has built this thing very quickly. He won 8 games in 2014, 9 in 2015. Went undefeated in the regular season in 2016, got beat in the semis. Went undefeated in the regular season in 2017, lost in the Dome to U-High in the final. Got to the semis in 2018, lost to U-High. Got to the finals again last year, lost to St. Thomas More, and is now undefeated, #1 seed again, looking to make a 5th straight semifinal trip. Not much doing right there for Byron Phillips. He will get it out to about the 28. It'll be 4th and 2, and this is certainly 4-down territory right here.
Guess who was on that?
The clock continues to run.
Guess who was on that tackle for the Teurlings Rebels? Julian Leblanc. Has he had a great night for that Rebel defense?
He has. He's been outstanding.
From his inside nose guard or shade position, his quickness and his athleticism has been duly noted here tonight by us two, for sure. And De La Salle, I would think, when they look back at that film tomorrow.
Fourth and about 2. I'm guessing Ryan Manali's going to let this run all the way down and call timeout. There's 1 on the play clock, and he will take it right there. 51.1 seconds remaining. And they'll have 1 left.
They'll have 1 left. He should go for it on 4th down right here. Dial up his best short yardage play.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you ever wanted to take a shot at a play-action pass,
this is the one,
right?
This
is the one to do it. You know they're going to sell out and try to stop the run right here.
Absolutely. Well,
if you don't get it, the clock's going to stop anyway. You're not worried about stopping the clock. But I think the takeaway from this one is that De La Salle hasn't had a game that was close late since a year ago. And this team, and everything that the crazy 2020 season that we've seen, has not had to face one. And faced with that situation for the first time, they have met the challenge. All in tight except for 1 out wide. They'll give it away. No, the quarterback will keep it. Milford's got the first down and then some. 10 out of bounds at the 7-yard line, and that should do it.
They run quarterback counter. Great play off of the motion right there. They get the kick out. They get the seal. Milford, who's done a great job all night for the Cavaliers, takes it off tackle, and he sews up the win. Should be nothing but a kneel-down job now for the Cavaliers.
43 seconds remaining. 1 knee ought to about do it right here. Well, you got the quarterback sneaks, but he's going to take the victory formation from shotgun.
Well,
that's what you do. You do what you do.
Again, that's a pet peeve, but.
I think that will do it. Yeah, they don't even start the 40. That is going to do it. So De La Salle trailed this game after 3 quarters, comes back, scores 2 touchdowns here in the final 12 minutes, and the Cavaliers will move on to the semifinals for the 5th consecutive season. Your final score, De La Salle 28 and Teurlings Catholic 17.
Great ball game. You know, the 4th quarter was all about De La Salle, and it started with the long pass at the start of the 4th quarter when the wind, with the wind at their back off the field position changed, and from there they never looked back. And what this proves for De La Salle is that they can be in close games this year, and they can play with good football teams right down until the end. And Teurlings Catholic is one of those good football teams.
Well, these 2 faith-based schools getting together for a prayer at the center of the field. And so De La Salle will play E.D. White in the semifinals. And there go to 8-0 in the year. Teurlings will end their season at 5-5. And look, they've got nothing to be ashamed of over on that far sideline. They played a terrific football game tonight, and they went toe-to-toe with an awful lot of good football teams all season long, and I think that helped get them ready for what they saw tonight.
Well, brought a lot of grit, a lot of effort in, and really impressed with guys like Caden Boulay, who directs that offense and gets a lot done, and of course with that fine defensive lineman we saw, who definitely jumped out on the radar tonight, Julian Leblanc, for their defense. I tell you what, they gave De La Salle everything that they wanted, everything that they needed, and but it's a big proving ground, a big proving point for the De La Salle Cavaliers tonight.
Well, Wade, it's been a pleasure, and we're not done. We'll have more high school football for you next week. Thanks for joining us tonight. As we said, more high school playoff football next week. Visit CrescentCitySports.com for days and times. For Chip Merritt, our producer, for Wade Kaiser, and our entire Crescent City Sports production team, I'm Lenny Van Gilder saying so long from Joe Yenny Stadium in Metairie. Once again, your final score, it was the De La Salle Cavaliers 28, the Teurlings Catholic Rebels 17. Until next week, so long, everybody.